Hello, everybody, and welcome back to more Kingmaker. Years later. Apparently, we want
So many years later, it's a new edition.
so many years later that, in fact, we have now aged as much as the characters in the world
Yeah,
have.
Mm.
except not because it's flashback.
Yes. So, what we are doing before moving forward with the storyline is we have converted over to the second edition, which is what we've been waiting for to start playing for a while. As part of that, there's a whole bunch of new content that got added, particularly with the opening and the companions, and I wanted to try to meld that into the game and experience some of that stuff that would have happened already, as well as give the players the chance to figure out how to play in second edition because we're all rather new to it. We've played a handful of sessions, but not enough to jump into 7th level play. So we are going to be having some flashback episodes in which we're going to be going through that content before we eventually get up there. If you are not joining us for the first time, you of course recognize Caleb and Robin. To my right,
Hello.
yes,
Somewhere
right.
in this amazing UI.
Yes, right. Is Aaron, who you may know from some of the other campaigns. He is now will be joining us. We may also have a fourth by the time we get up to there, but for the flashbacks, it's going to be the four of us. As I said, we are relatively new, so a lot of this is going to be us figuring out Pathfinder 2nd Edition at the same time. So there may be some slowdown as we try to figure out rules and stuff. If it goes on too long, I'll try to edit it out. But yeah, so that being, where are we going to start off in our flashback timeline? So, right after Hans was made a Baron, and Imogen and Napkip were knighted. Oh, also, just as an explanation for how all this event went, because this is how I pitched it to everyone else. This being a high fantasy setting, some fool adventurer decided to go back in time, stepped on a butterfly. Maybe did some other things too, but he definitely stepped on a butterfly, and so now the timeline has changed slightly. Nothing major, nothing that you concretely remember as happening, unless I state has changed. These are just going to be additions of things that happened that maybe we didn't see, maybe the camera wasn't on the first part. So starting with that, as I said, this is right after the Stag Lord has been killed.
Hooray.
Yep. Imogen and Napkip were knighted. Hans was made a Baron. And originally there was a part where they went and talked to one of the Sword Lords about getting stuff worked out and getting some stuff together. That never happened now. Instead, Hans, you were directly asked to meet with one of the primarily financial backers of this operation by the head of the Orvalesky family.
Okay.
He asked you on your way back that Lady Jamandi Aladori
Okay.
is throwing a gathering for everyone who's going to be involved in the settling of the stolen lands.
Awesome. Time to network.
Yes, so he has asked you to attend with your retinue, and as she has requested your presence there, and get to know everyone at this feast.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Cool. So that is what is going on. Aaron's character, Egnar,
Man
Sorry.
over here.
It's Einar.
Einar, has been working with one of the other leaders on their exploration mission, Magar Varn. So he will be introduced. He is already there at the event.
Huh, what are the odds? That both his first and last name would start with EJ.
That's
Einar, son of Alrun. So
What are the odds?
makes sense to me. All right.
Anywho.
So you guys exit from your carriage. And make it through the front door. You are, of course, announced properly.
Is Borvo allowed in the room?
I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
Whew.
As long as you can display that he is a trained animal, let's use that word. Like, this is a world where druids exist and things. This is not an unknown thing for you to have an animal who works with you. It is purely asked to just make sure that if he needs to defecate, he does it outside. You are asked very politely because you are a lady now. So yes,
Sure.
so you are announced as Baron Hans Grunch, in attendance with his retinue, Sir Napkip and Lady Imogen.
And
Say
in
there
walks
is
this
some.
assortment.
This
I was gonna say there
motley
is
crew.
some difference though. Like imagine if you will, because like the Baron, right? Like he has the air, right, of aristocracy about him,
Right.
right? He looks like a
Yeah.
noble, and then Imogen right behind him looks like the
She's like
barbarian
crudely walking.
fiend.
And a
With the
kobold.
bear.
Well,
And
but
then napkin.
the full skull of
Yeah.
and
A
the
stag.
antlers on top of your head, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Astride a bear, a massive bear. And on
She's
the
not
other
riding
side
it
of
yet
that,
at this point.
I was gonna say, probably not riding it. I don't know if she's gonna fit through the door riding the bear.
yeah.
Oh,
How big is
that is
Borvo?
also just a note. Mechanically, we can't do some. We're working. When we get to level 7, Imogen will be able to ride her new animal companion, the owl bear. Mechanically, for now, Borvo is unrideable. Because I just don't know how to balance the system around that.
He
So
can maul things, though.
it's true. We are working on homebrewing that, but just as a point of order for people who care about the mechanical things.
And on the other side
Pathfinder
of,
hates bears for some reason.
and on the other side of the noble, just a kobold with many pointy things.
Yes, lots of pointy things.
Yes. Unlike in his picture, he has twin short swords on by his side.
Does he have his tail weapon?
He does not.
Okay.
Not yet, not yet. Okay.
That is a thing that did not make the edition transfer
Yet.
yet.
Yeah.
well, let's wait a few updates. This spacious hall has been prepared for a great feast. Servants hustle and bustle about, while several armed soldiers, Lady Jamandi's house guards, watch over the hall from their position against the east and west halls. To the north, a fire crackles away in a large fireplace. An Ireleven, secured by lock, adorns the fireplace eastern face. 2 massive crystal chandeliers hang from the ceilings, 20 feet above. The walls are decorated with painted murals of idyllic woodland scenes. Nymphs frolicking amid waterfalls, satyrs dancing with fauns in woodland glens, and various winged fairy creatures flitting through the trees. 9 long tables are arranged around the central position of the room, each holding plates, utensils, mugs, goblets, and full, ready-to-be-poured pitchers of ale, wine, mead, and water. The smell of roasted meat and other delicious scents fill the room, yet no food has yet been served. You see at the head table is Hans, the description that you have been given. You can tell that is, and from context, that is in fact the lady. If anyone wants to recognize the gentleman who is to her right, you can give me a society check. There are a bunch more people in the room. These are just the most interesting people who are in the room, but there are a bunch of other minor characters flittering about. And these tables fit much more than one person to them at the time.
Okay, that's a 13 to my society.
I'm not even gonna try.
A 13 to your society.
Ooh. 19 society.
Ooh.
Okay. Hans, I'm going to say that 13 is not quite enough. A 19 is enough. You know him to be Isiphus Selmuris, the Lord Mayor of Restov, the city you guys are currently in.
Joseph.
He is also a sword lord, as are almost all of the upper leadership of Brevoy and the lands.
Okay.
So yes, you guys are properly announced to the room. Few people see you and notice you. Is there anything that you would like to do before the feast officially gets underway?
Well,
Correction. Those two people aren't there yet.
Oh,
okay,
Oh
well
no,
that...
Yosef! I didn't even.
we barely knew you.
Oh, Yosef, I knew him well.
Okay, well-
Scrolls down, sees literally that the next thing that happens is them walking in and that I forgot about it.
Oh. Yeah, it's
Orvo
like,
barely knows everyone.
well, my first action was to go greet our hosts, but in light of that, okay. Yeah. Time
You
to get
see
to
only
work.
one
Yeah.
empty table.
Time to get to work. I might as well start here.
All right.
Imogen shuffles awkwardly behind you. And Borvo shuffles it awkwardly behind
You
her.
see a tall, muscular woman clad in a mix of animal scales, leather, and battle-scarred hide armor. She wears a massive greatsword in a leather scabbard across her back. She is talking rather loudly with the people at the table around her, boasting about some of her grace and deeds as she takes a drink from a taggart.
Anchored. Big ale cup.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'll wait for her to finish whatever boast she's on.
Mm-hmm.
Borvo takes his rightful place at the head of
But
the table.
I'm going to try to make a point of standing there, waiting.
Okay. After
And we'll probably have some, either laugh or give a small chuckle or something when she finishes.
okay.
Just something to draw attention to myself.
All right. You do so, and the woman takes a look at you. What is your strength score?
10.
She looks you up and down, and does not seem impressed.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly with you dressed in your noble guard. As she looks at you, she states, "Ha! So I guess they have another blue blood working with us here."
That is correct. I am Baron Hans Gunch. My company and I, were some of those tasked with exploring the lands somewhat southwest of here.
Ah. Well, I came in as part of the new recruits. And they were asking to aid in this expedition. Call for heroes, they called it. There's no... and there's no greater warrior than me. As she says that, the herald asks everyone to please take a seat.
I give her a farewell in Halit.
She just kind of stares at you.
I guess I can't sit on that side of the table. Orvo again takes his rightful place at the head of the table.
As you shortly after you take your seats, a striking half-elf woman enters the hall, followed by an aristocratic middle-aged man. The man wears finely tethered clothing, fit for a noble, while the woman appears dressed for battle. She wears a fine leather coat over a sparkling mail shirt, and at her waist hangs an Eldori dueling sword with a bright silver pommel. The two make their way to the head table, where they remain standing. The man speaks first. Greetings, heroes. I am Osif Silmirius, Lord Mayor of Restov. And this, he gestures to the woman beside him, is Lady Jamandi Aldadori. We both thank you for answering the call for heroes. You may be few, but we only need the best for this great task. Lady Jamandi offers the room a broad smile before she speaks. As many of you know and have already experienced, south of here, beyond Brevoy's border, lie the stolen lands. This disputed territory has been claimed time and time again by would-be settlers. But because this area has been a haven for bandits and monsters, it has never been held for long. Restov intends for this to change today. If you have enough courage, and many of you have already shown that you do, to drive off the dangerous denizens of the stolen land, you are now... you can seize the territory for yourselves and name yourselves Baronesses or Barons. And many of you, she looks around, particularly at a few of you. Hans, you are one of them. Restov intends to recognize the legitimacy of these new rulers of this land, and none of the other neighboring realms care enough to challenge you. We are prepared to provide backing as a trade partner and military ally. If you work with us to claim the land, you will indeed have a friend in Restov as well as its support. Lady Germandi then raises her goblet. But the details of your individual missions and charters can wait until tomorrow. I raise my glass to you, brave heroes. For now, let us eat and enjoy the evening, for tomorrow promises to be a very busy day indeed. And with that, the feast begins. So, before it goes, does anyone have a Brevi lore or politics lore?
I have Lore Brevoy.
Okay, go ahead.
I have politics.
Go ahead and give me checks for both of those to see what knowledge you recall about Jamandi Aldadori.
Okay.
15.
Okay.
An 11 for me.
All right. You both recognize her as one of the Aldori Sword Lords, a wealthy and influential woman who is recognized to be one of Restov's greatest warriors. All right, so Caleb.
Do we know that this hall belongs to her?
Yes,
or
this is her.
This
is her mansion. This is
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, you.
Okay. I was wondering because the description you gave suggests that she is both lots of money and lots of power.
Yes. Caleb, you talked about networking.
Yes, time to do that.
That is officially what's going to happen.
Hooray!
Oh, Aaron, I love the fact you have an actual tankard. So, the feast will go on for 2 hours. And
20 hours.
it's going to be
20 hours.
2 hours broken up into 20-minute segments. During each of these segments, you will have the chance to interact with any of the guests. They can be the same guest or a different one. You can take one of two actions. You can either influence them or try to discover more about them. Influence, you will make a... you tell me what you are trying to do to get to influence them. It does not necessarily have to be something like diplomacy or bluff or intimidation. It can be any skill. For instance, the lady who you met, Amiri, being big and tough. If you want to try to impress her by performing a feat of strength with athletics, that would be possibly a thing that you could do. That's also where discovery helps in. You can take the time to watch someone and figure out what they like, what they enjoy. Also, for instance, because of how we change things and the fact that Aaron's character's been working under Maegar, you know that he likes history. So you could possibly use society to enjoy a conversation and strike up his interest and talk to him about it. Since we've been playing a lot of 4th edition, this is a lot like a 4th edition skill challenge.
Okay, yeah.
I will tell you this now. You will probably have a better success honing in on a few NPCs and trying to win their favor than spreading it all around.
So, I have a secondary question
Yes.
then. So discovery just kind of gives us an idea of how we can impress them. And then as far as impressing them, once we have their like a good impression, is that like as far as it goes, or are there like stages
There
of
are stages.
Okay.
So, discover. You study and watch an NPC. On a success, you learn which skill can influence the NPC has the lowest DC, skipping any skill you've already tried or know about. You will learn, or you can learn about one of their personal biases. One of what their resistances are, or if they seem to have a particular weakness for some sort of interaction. On a critical success, you can choose 2 of those. On an if you influence, a failure grants you no points. Critical failure, you lose a point. Success, you gain a point, and a critical success, you gain 2 points of influence over them. Most of them have it at a tier where they go up in 2s. Though that it honestly does differ for a lot of them. The highest any of them go is 8 for how much influence you can do for one person.
Okay.
A lot of them trigger at 2, 6, and 8. I will give you the basics of since you just interact with them, you will naturally pick up on the personalities of the different people in the room and their appearance. So I will give that to you for free now. Yes. So starting with, you have already met Amiri.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Much as you have already seen, she is very blunt and cares very little for social niceties. She seems very figuratively dismissive of those who are physically weak-looking, but shows a great amount of respect to those who display strength or a particularly stubborn will.
Particularly what?
Stubborn will. The dwarf.
Oh, you're on camera.
The dwarf over here, he is middle-aged, with a bald head and a long salt and peppered beard. While calm and leveled-headed, he does seem to have a bit of moroseness about him. You overhear him saying such statements as, we must all merely learn to abandon hope and embrace the inevitableness of the world.
Never mind, I hate this person.
Though he is, though watching him, seems to be surprisingly approachable, and a good conversationalist. Though he does have a tendency to start rambling about the end of days every once in a while.
Nice.
The woman over here.
Do I have
End of days lore?
religion check?
Sure.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. That's fine.
Considering that's a 16, I don't know if I get a bonus because my own character's Pharasmin.
I'm gonna give you a +1 circumstance bonus to succeed on this. You can tell from how he's saying and how he is dressed that he is a cleric of Garotis.
Yep, checks out.
The god of the apocalypse. He is Yes, because the reason that you know about it is that is the big giant moon that hangs over the boneyard.
Right, it's the big Majora's Mask moon.
Yes.
Looking over my religion's plane of being.
Yes. The woman.
The moon is Grotus?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
And it continually falls closer and closer to the boneyard, and then every once in a while it will just spring back several million feet, and then slowly dissolve.
Four giants without necks.
Or torsos.
You may not know as much as that. The elven woman here is deathly pale and wears dark clothing. Her long raven black hair is long, and she has no jewelry. Leaning against the table is her massive, wickly sharp scythe.
Uh-oh.
She seems very reserved.
A life hunter.
Exactly how much like me does it?
She seems to anyone who tries to interact with her directly. She seems to push those questions on to the man beside her. Instead, who is a gnome, incredibly dressed in fine robes and silk. He looks more like a gnome prince than an adventurer. He does seem to take over conversations rather forcefully, rather brashly and obnoxiously. Rudely, and definitely thinking that he is better than everyone else who is here.
Okay.
The woman here. Scrolling. Sorry, I went the wrong direction. Is a tall, exceptionally beautiful woman with striking eyes and a warrior's physique. She seems to be polite and extremely well-mannered, though has little time or interest to partake in humor and jokes. The man over here is ruggedly handsome with a constant shadow of a beard on his jaw. He wears his dark gray hair in a small bun. He carries a distinctive sword that bears the crest of House Varn. 4 hatchets arranged in a circle on its pommel guard.
Okay.
He is friendly and charming.
Okay.
And finally, the young halfling woman here. Nope. Not what I wanted to. I didn't want to scroll in. I wanted to scroll in my PDF. The young halfling woman wears leather armor and a weather-worn cloak. She keeps a large leather-bound journal in front of her, into which she sketches profile images of everyone present at the table, and scribes occasional notes and verses for tunes inside of it. She seems perky, chatty, and excited to be here, to attend what she continually refers to as the Feast of Heroes.
All right. I have one, I think, extremely pertinent question, though.
Yes.
Because there was a figure that I think is very important to this feast that has been left out. So I want to know the basic nature and how much influence I can gain with Napkip.
Napkip is an excited and talkable kobold. Black scale, dressed in...
Looks like character sheet.
Yeah, exactly. Not even... Exactly. Dressed in leather armor. He very much has the air of a warrior about him. though it does not seem he is incredibly experienced. He still speaks in somewhat broken common, though it has gone significantly better with after traveling with two native speakers and speaking that almost primarily with them for the past couple months. He is energetic and incredibly friendly with everyone, and incredibly curious to learn about the world, which he's learned is much bigger than a cave.
Okay, so
So for the
this woman's aesthetic, and especially the scythe, are
would you like to give me a knowledge religion check?
oh, I don't care if he knows this or not, but he has. Okay, he either knows it or he has suspicions, I guess. Ooh, that would be a 21.
Okay, let me see what the DC is.
Could not have gotten much higher than that.
You said you got a 21?
Yes.
All right. You know that she to you appears to be a very pale woman. She does not show some of the telltale signs that you would attribute to another Damfire.
Don't think I wasn't thinking she was another Dampier. I think the scythe in particular is just like. There's a goddess who Hans really doesn't like.
Who happens to be on her character token.
Yes. That much you are able to
Oh boy.
recognize.
Okay, so yes, that
she
woman is.
Yes, she is in fact a follower
Not good,
of
not very.
Gotha. Ergatha?
Ergathoa.
Ergathoa.
Urgathoa. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So
Basically, to Hans, he looks over and is like, "Oh, a Satanist is also here."
Mechanically, you guys will all earn influence for them. I'm going to treat you as one party for just the sake of this, even though technically you're part of two different groups at the moment.
Sure.
What would you guys like to do?
I mean, I'm definitely going to start with Magar.
Okay.
Since I already know that he's a historian, I'm going to try the influence thing, and my conversational topic is going to be Jamandi, I think. And where she's got the walls covered in the tales of great heroes, but also her importance to this. So I'll totally let everyone else declare what they're doing, but he's my first target and I'm gonna go for influence. And you said society is probably the best, or would politics lore be like?
Politics lore is completely
they're
acceptable.
the same for me, but like I think politics lore is kind of where I'm aiming with this.
Okay.
Excuse me. Wow.
So do you want me to roll or wait until everybody else has chosen their target?
No, you can go ahead and roll.
Okay. Ooh, that is not good. That is a 5.
Ooh. So you try to discuss to him about what's going on, and you unfortunately reveal yourself to know very little about Lady Jamandi. As a fellow sword lord, he kind of takes that as an insult. That is a critical fail.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Uh-oh.
Let's see. I know who I'm not speaking to. And I was also planning on starting with Magar just because it makes the most sense in character.
Okay, so you walk over and hear this. What you can hear is turning into quickly a rather awkward conversation
Hmm.
about the political nature of Lady Jamandi and the Aldodoris in general. Aaron, would you like to describe what your character looks like?
Yeah. So at this point, he is in the middle age. He is tall, fairly brown of skin. He has a beard and mustache. His hair is long, although pulled back into a tail, and he wears what are essentially very plain traveler's clothes. Does look like he's just come quite far, although underneath the folds you can see around his neck, he does have hung a necklace with a fairly sizable ruby.
Caleb, would you like to describe what your character looks like?
Okay. Approaching the table is a fairly tall, thin, abnormally pale young man. Dressed in pretty, fairly nice looking clothes, if nothing incredibly special.
He does have a
He
very big hat.
was wearing, yeah, he was wearing a massive wide brimmed hat when he came in, but he took that out when he took that off when he started eating, revealing about shoulder length straight black hair. In addition to his pale skin, he also has somewhat light pinkish red eyes, both of which could mean one of two things, one of which is significantly worse than the other. Um, of note, he does not actually bear any. Yeah, he doesn't appear to be carrying any weapons.
Appear to be.
I was just say my character does have a short sword, as long as weapons are allowed in this place, which I assume they are.
Yes.
They
Yeah,
better
so
be.
he's a short sword strapped to his.
Or
Yeah.
Amiri is in trouble.
Yeah. Yes. He does not appear to have any weapons, but he is walking with a cane.
All right. Han, so would you like to try to join in on this conversation?
Yes. He's going to. Well, actually, yeah. What he's going to do is he's going to start by greeting Nanya.
Who's presumably around here somewhere.
Yeah, exchanging greetings with her and asking who the rest of her companions are. Or at least to be introduced to the rest of her companions. Uh-huh. And yeah, when it comes to why is this doing that?
What?
My my scroll bar is not doing what I want it to. Yeah, he's going to try and Okay, you guys are talking about a sword lord specifically, yes? That
So
sword lord.
it could be it. I mean, like I totally if Joel wants to go the insult route, I'm down with it. Um, my interpretation of the critical fail of the roll is because he's a history buff, right?
Right.
So I want to know about the Sword Lord, but I made the mistake of mentioning the murals, and now I'm getting a diatribe, and
Okay.
he's going off in a completely opposite direction. And I'm like, but wait, and I keep trying to bring the conversation back around to the Sword Lord, and he is gone. He is just like, he has no, like, he is fully focused on some historical reference that I care nothing about and has no bearing on the situation.
Okay. My only thing is you did actually lose a point of influence with him.
Okay.
So,
From zero, so I'm at -1.
yes.
Okay.
If I read the rules right, that is possible.
Okay.
So I just need.
Ow.
No, that's fine. If it's more of an insult, that's fine.
Okay, so if
You're not
he's
allowed to save scum the conversation
yeah.
game in this realm.
I wasn't so never.
No, I'm making a brilliant reference.
Um. Okay, so the main subject was
So
the
so
sword lords in general and her in specific.
right
Which
right.
would
So I'm gonna go
be-
off of I'm going to Aaron's thing.
Uh-huh.
So yes, you go off on. He's going off on the tangent. Um,
Mhm.
you constantly are keeping interrupting him to try and bring the conversation back to what you want to.
So he
That's
takes
what
it as an insult.
That's what he gets
Yeah.
annoyed by.
Okay.
Yeah.
That wasn't me saying no. That was me going, okay. How do we also include the fact that there was you have annoyed him somewhat? What is that? That was what
Yeah.
I was trying to say.
Yeah.
So yeah. So he is going off on a conversation about
He's interested in one thing. I'm interested in another, and
Yes.
he finds it offensive
yes,
because I'm not following his actual interest.
yes,
Hmm.
yeah. So he's going off about the heroes of Brevoy currently.
Yeah.
Cool. That. If I wished to join that conversation, the skill that makes the most sense would be Brevoy lore, then, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Oh boy, I'm gonna say something. Unfortunately, this die has been rolling well for me so far, so I'm due for a bad one.
Don't say that.
He's attempting to curse his dice. Okay, let him be.
Oh, okay, 15. That's
You do a lot better job than the man sitting across from him has. You manage to at least engage him in conversation, though he doesn't
Yeah.
seem particularly impressed
Yeah.
with your knowledge. Just as a mechanical thing, you're going to have a lot harder time influencing him
Yeah.
as a nobleman than other people around the table. In case that matters to you, he
Gotcha.
has higher DCs than everyone else.
Gotcha.
Robin, who is Imogen interacting with? Who would Imogen find the most interesting? And if you say no one, I know what happens.
Oh dear.
It means that Napkip takes over the conversation.
Yeah. Imogen's kind of feeling really out of her element here. So.
Boop.
Oh, good. Good, great. Awesome. Great.
The halfling woman
Fantastic.
comes up and is immediately like, "So what is the story behind that helm? I've never seen one like that before."
Dong. Well, and she she like nervously starts trying to tell the story of the Stag Lord and the bandits, and then she starts getting a little hot-headed when she starts talking about the bandits because she hates bandits, like with a burning passion, and she tells the story of how the helm was corrupted and was originally a helm of Aristil, and she starts talking about the encounter she had with the stag, and
All right, cool. Go ahead
Yes.
and give me either deception or intimidation.
What?
Sorry,
How is it
diplomacy.
deception?
Diplomacy.
I'm not lying.
That was
She doesn't believe you. It's
that
too
was entirely
incredible.
my brain thought one thing. My mouth decided it wanted to say something else. Yes, diplomacy. Intimidation is much more if you are more. Imitation would be more for your bragging, right? You are giving off the air of how strong and everything else
Well,
you are. Diplomacy.
I'm much better at intimidation, so I think I'm gonna go with that.
Okay.
That's the D20. Yes. Okay. Let's give that a roll. That is an 8, 9, 10, 11. For intimidation.
She pays attention politely to the conversation.
Hey, you can't. You asked for this conversation.
It looks as though she was maybe hoping you do not tell the story well. That's the thing. She's interested in the story. You, as the storyteller, are not as interesting to her.
She's like making editor's notes the entire time.
Yeah.
It was a big deer. Very shiny.
Napkip is going to walk over to the barbarian woman.
Oh, good. I
Good.
can't wait to see how this turns out.
And he is going to perform he's going to try to show her how incredibly strong he is.
Okay.
I love him.
Particularly for being a kobold. Oh!
Oh, jeez.
He
does
is
it.
strong.
That is a
He challenges 5 different people to an arm wrestling contest.
He takes a bite out of the table.
Okay, not only does he succeed, he critically succeeds.
So, okay, what
Yeah, I was
what
gonna
can
say,
you
what
think of
what
for
what
him
does
to
he do? And
Oh,
note, in this version, he has a +3 to strength, so Napkip is incredibly strong as far as people go.
Okay, what can he do?
I like the arm wrestling idea. Do we have a better suggestion than he honestly walks up and just starts like going down the table arm wrestling everyone?
It'll be interesting if he approaches her initially and she dismisses him as being tiny.
Right.
And he's like, Napkip is strong. Napkip can take your whole company. And that's when there's the arm wrestling competition that begins. As she's like, sure, why not? And she just points at one of the random members of her retinue and is like, you first.
Yeah.
And then Napkip takes one down, and then as he continues to win, he gets more and more of the room to pay attention.
Yeah.
Until he goes up against her, right? Like, because that would be the natural
Right.
conclusion. Now the question that I have is, does she beat him or does he beat her? Because I feel like with a critical success, he doesn't need to beat her necessarily, but he gives her like a fight.
Yeah. Yeah. She is incredibly strong. I'm just gonna say because the difference in their modifiers, she wins.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he does way better than she would have ever suspected. Like, it is one of those things that, like, it is like a 5-minute, like, contest instead of being, like,
Yeah.
she's used to booming guys, right?
Yeah,
And it's like,
yeah.
oh, and, like, it is a thing where, like, he barely loses, but she is very impressed with him.
Just going to take a moment to recreate the handshake from Predator.
Oh, good lord.
All right, so that is the first round. There are 5 more. Would any of you, as a reminder, you can also try to just spend your turn to discern, which then that information becomes known amongst all of you. That's not metagame, that's just how it works. If you would like to try and figure out how to influence someone particularly, or what their weaknesses are, or how they may want to appeal to them. So once you tell me who that is, I can tell you what skills you can use for that.
My bullheadedness really wants to like get the guy that I'm supposedly working for influenced, but I understand also that it's going to be hard and that like all of my skills, I feel like, despite the fact that I am highly like I have all of the charisma stuff.
Right.
I have the weird sensation I'm not going to be using most of it here. I really want to know
Which is
about
perception. By
Valerie
the way, it is perception.
personally.
So for instance, Robin, because it's something it's very good at, you could spend your time just listening to the conversation, and like giving hints to like Hans and stuff how to network with people. That is a legitimate use of your turn. Aaron, if you
So
Okay.
want,
to find out about people
yeah,
is
yeah, and you
perception.
guys don't. Yes, and you guys don't need to go in the same order, right? Like if
Mhm.
Robin, now that she knows that, wants to go and go, oh well, he's interested in Valerie purely for mechanical reasons, right? It doesn't fit as much in the story because of just weirdly how we're doing it. You can make the perception check on Valerie to try and figure it out. There are also additional skills that it could be, which I will let you know. So, for
Yeah.
instance, for Valerie, please hold while I scroll. There's so many of them in a couple of pages. It would be perception, society, or warfare if you had it.
Okay.
But yeah, Robin, if you want to go ahead and perception to see if you can.
Sure. Yeah, so when it becomes clear that Lindsay isn't really listening to her, she's just gonna up and leave.
Oh, no, she's listening to you. She's just unimpressed, and she's taking down your story and telling you how it would make a better story. She's like,
yeah, she's like making stuff up, and I'm like, no, that's not how it went down. And when she keeps doing that, I'm just gonna be okay. She just moves on. Um, so yeah, she's gonna who does it seem like Hans is? I know he's talking to Varn over here, but is he gonna keep talking to him, or is he gonna move on from there?
Um, let's see. He doesn't want to approach either of these two,
Okay.
like at all.
Okay.
He doesn't think he would get anywhere with Amiri, but
Borvo continues the conversation
yeah,
with Lindsay.
whatever. Yeah, yeah. Napkip was the better choice for that. Yeah. Magar, Varn, and Harim struck him as people he might be able to try speaking to. And he isn't quite sure how he would approach Lindsay or Valerie.
Well,
So
I guess
basically, ignoring Tartuccio and Jathal willfully, leaving Amiri for others to deal with, and yeah, he has an idea of how to at least try talking to two of them, and two of them he has no. Two of them is like should probably try to figure them out in some
okay,
way,
so
but
yeah, so Imogen will try to get a beat on Valerie in that case.
Okay, cool.
So perception check. I have a +8 to this. $12. That was a garbage roll.
Yeah, that is. That is a failure. You do not.
I don't
Yeah.
like these dice. Can I have different dice?
All right. You also wanted to try to figure out
Uh,
Valerie's.
yeah, so I think during the conversation, realizing that I have offended Magar, I'm going to move in this direction, and then uh, I'm going to try and find out a little bit of something about this Valerie character. So that's a perception roll, you said?
That is a perception roll or a society roll, whichever is higher for you. You could make it.
They're the same.
Okay, so perception probably.
That's 11.
Oof. Okay. No, you have a hard time figuring out what
I
makes her
don't
tick.
I don't have a lot of bonuses to things that aren't the high charisma stuff, so I'm kind of useless here.
Yeah.
If the DCs are anywhere above that, I've got to roll high, and I don't know if you've met me before, but there's a reason I'm a GM most of the time.
Okay. Hans. What is Hans doing?
You know, doing Dampier stuff.
Well, he has an idea of where he wants this conversation to go. But just in case, since he's at least able to engage this guy in conversation and didn't directly offend him, he's going to, I would like to try to perception to see what other things I can use, because Hans would like to try to turn this to talk of future plans, potential diplomatic stuff that might come up. So, but he doesn't know if this guy is even remotely going to be interested in.
Okay, so you can either
Diplomacy
give
yet.
me an occultism.
Because he has been going on. Because
You could either give.
so far, what he has noticed is this guy has changed the subject at least once, and is going on at length.
Yeah. You can give me occultism, perception, or society.
Okay. I believe my best one there is perception. Occultism. Interesting. Yeah, I'll use perception.
Okay.
26.
Oh, okay? With a 26, you succeed. Not critically succeed. That's a success. All right. So, would you like to know what is? Would you like to know what is his lowest DC skill?
Mm-hmm.
What one of his personal biases may be, what he may be
Okay.
resistant to, or what his weaknesses seems to be.
Let's go for lowest DC, I guess.
Okay.
Well, I think I know what that one is, but...
His lowest DC is to talk to him about history.
Okay.
It is just, he is very knowledgeable, and it is going to be quite difficult to impress him that way. Like, he'll engage you in conversation, but he will definitely monopolize the conversation, and it's hard to impress him.
Okay.
All right. Napkip. Who's Napkip going to interact with? That is the question. Napkip seems annoyed with how much of a bully Tortuccio seems to be. And he is going to tell him off.
Uh-oh.
He's going to make an
no.
intimidation check. That is a 19.
Nice!
He succeeds. And Tortuccio actually seems impressed with the kobold, and particularly it's not a critical success; it's just a success. But yeah, he actually seems fairly impressed with how he tells him off and tells him that he knows nothing of what he's talking about. Arrogant, stupid little man. his force of his force of personality seems to have actually impressed him.
As it should.
Ah. Oop.
Oh no.
All right. It is the third round. Who wants to go do things? You can also just try to blind skill. So, like,
Like I did. Yeah, that's...
yes.
or I'm about to do.
Right. I'm, you don't need to use,
Wait, what?
you don't, sorry, yeah. Basically, Aaron, if you want to just try to go in with the conversation diplomacy to start, that is entirely a viable thing to do. In fact, it is, I will let you know, diplomacy is probably the core skill for talking to a lot of these people. It's just there are other ones that people can employ so that people who just didn't take diplomacy are not out of being able to do things.
Yeah.
Well, first off, does anyone want to get any perception checks out of the way?
You can try again.
Robin, you're muted.
I am aware. As soon as I started talking, I was like, oh shoot, I'm muted. Yeah. Should I try Valerie again, or should I...
Yeah, go ahead and try Valerie again.
Yeah, I'll try Valerie again. I changed the color of my dice,
Okay.
so
Maybe that will...
maybe that'll help.
This
They're
woman
black. They
is-
match the color of my soul now. Okay, here we go.
This woman has been an enigma so far.
What did you roll a 1?
14.
14?
14.
Better roll.
14. Would you like to know what is her lowest influence skill? What her weakness is, or her resistance is? Or what was the other option? There's one more. Biases, resistances, weaknesses, or easiest skill to influence her with?
Easiest skill, I guess.
The easiest skill is diplomacy. She seems to be someone that if you act properly, you could very easily impress her with good decorum.
Okay. Yo, Hans!
So you walk over and you pull Hans away from his current conversation and let him know this information.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
All right. Hans or Aaron, would you guys like to take advantage of this knowledge?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give it a try.
Oh, also, just so you know, there is nothing that stops you from using the same skill twice on the same person. So, so if you would like to continually try to talk her up with diplomacy, Aaron, you can do that.
I got a 23 for diplomacy.
A 23
I approach her
is
with
a critical
like,
success. How does this conversation go?
So my intention, going into it is like, cause she looks like a warrior, so I'm kind of like, cause Magar and I are beginning the building of this keep, right?
Right.
Like this whole, and so like looking at around the room and being like, who militarily would I go to and be like, hey, you're someone with whom I would like to make alliance should you also succeed in your endeavors. So I'm
Is that
going
what
to
they're
go to
calling it
her
these days?
and begin. Call what?
I was making a joke. I'm sorry.
Oh. I want to make overtures to be like do I know which area she was in? As like her
She
party?
is one of the new people. So like Amiri, a lot of people are
Okay.
being brought on to bolster the ranks because it's very
Okay.
different from going in and exploring to going in and trying to build up kingdoms. you find out in this conversation, assuming that this is one of the questions
Yeah.
that you ask, like, oh, were you part of one of the other expeditions? You find out that she is one of the new faces
Okay.
being brought
Now,
in.
has she already chosen an expedition? Because if not, I'm going to try and sway her. I'm going to be like, hey, like, we're beginning this endeavor for which we could use a strong military mind, a tactical mind.
She has not. You begin to sway her.
Okay.
Yeah, the conversation goes swimmingly. She is very impressed with how you perform everything properly. According
Yeah,
to
because I look
social decor.
really simple.
Yeah.
In general, like I look rough. I look like I've come from a place where I've seen lots of sun, um, uh, and you know, not just tan, but like to the point where like there's like some you know, a little bit too much sun kind of a thing. But at that point, like meeting all of the necessary niceties. Okay. So we have a foothold. 2 footholds. 3 footholds? I don't know. I don't know how the gnome actually perceives us. He's okay with Napkip telling him to go shove it.
Okay, this is a terrible decision on my part, but it's the one that narratively makes sense. Hans is going to go over here.
And talk to the bear?
And
Oh.
yes.
Borvo is having a riveting conversation with Lindsay. In fact, he also is trying to impress her with intimidation.
All I can
He
see is
rolls-
brother bear.
He rolls a 12 to try to impress her.
Borvo gets distracted with a piece of mutton that has been
That's far more important.
yeah, that has been served. He just goes and scoots off into the corner.
Yeah, so Hans is going to, he's going to give a glance down this way before heading off. Yeah, that's where he was going to go, but honestly, he's thankful for a reason not to go anywhere closer to that person. So... what he is going to do is he is going to just try just introducing himself.
Okay.
And
You could use
basically begin a conversation. I would like to use diplomacy if I can.
yes.
But...
You can use diplomacy or society to do it in the proper way. Either one.
We're gonna go with diplomacy on this one.
Okay.
I
was gonna say if Aaron crit succeeded with a 23, then that lets you.
I don't have. Oh, okay. That'd be a 19.
A 19 is a success.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't impress her as much as Aaron does. But you do strike up a good conversation. Between that and how she's been buttered up by the man across the table, she seems to have become rather friendly with you guys. And of a good disposition to you. Who does Napkip interact with next?
Hans is taking a mental note. It's like, that guy is very good at speaking. I should know, I'm apparently decent at it myself. But that guy is excellent at it. Also, he just had an argument with his boss. Pay attention.
Napkip is going to turn to the woman beside him and continue to try to appear very... he's going to try to impress her. And as he continues this conversation...
No.
Yes.
Hans is about to go retrieve Napkip.
Okay.
Lady have big blade. Me have big blade too.
He tries to convince
blade
him.
times.
Yeah, he tries to convince her that he is all that. She seems She like was kind of impressed by like how this kobold told the guy off beside her. And then he's like, "Let me tell you about Napkip. Let me tell you about how impressive Napkip is as a warrior." He manages to succeed.
I mean, he is adorable.
Yeah, it's not actually the adorableness that gets her. She's actually rather impressed. It's like, oh, this kobold actually means business. He actually seems to be able to know. He actually seems to know what he's doing. That is the end of the round of the third round. What would you guys like to do next?
Okay, yes. So Hans politely excuses himself and starts marching over here to get Napkip away. And then halfway there thinks better of it and continues on his way and goes over here.
Sees how amazingly the conversation is going.
No. He just, it's like,
He's like, I could tell him to stop, or I could make a scene.
yeah. It's like, I'm not. It's like, how about not openly antagonizing people right now? When my whole point here is trying to make friends.
Okay.
I'll just tell Napkip, never speak to her again later in private. So, I am going to try to strike up a religious conversation with this guy.
Great. Go ahead and give me a religion check.
Question is he even remotely interested in my religion? No, that's a 9.
So you don't impress him, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. It's not. But
Well, I'm talking about Pharasma. His god is Groritas. He doesn't.
no, he's actually interested in the conversation.
Oh, okay.
So you talk to him. He's actually very drawn in because he begins to start talking to you, basically, and having a theological debate and dialogue with you about the differences of your faith. And he seems interested in this conversation. Like he would like it to keep it going. You don't impress him yet.
Okay.
But he continues in this conversation. Critical failure is kind of the point where you actually sort of like it goes badly. Just
Gotcha.
a failure means you have not impressed them, but you continue to have a good conversation with them.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, so you have this conversation, and you are starting the process of having an interfaith dialogue and a debate about the difference and your philosophical views of the world because of it, and how your religion face that, and how Goris and Pharasma interact with each other. It's actually, it's not.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, that's what happens. You don't impress
Yeah,
him.
that part's fascinating.
Right.
So
Okay, so you have gone. You were the first.
Are you trying to convert him?
no, even if I
am
were,
proselytizing right now.
yeah, even if it were, it'd be highly unlikely. Hans actually follows like a specific sect, like not actually. Yeah, the person who ended up converting him was rather radical in certain views. So
He's the seventh day of Venice of
right.
of Pharasmians.
It sounds a little bit like a cult.
I do not.
Well, he is a Dampier.
Okay, so that is what you do. Aaron, Robin, what are your characters doing? You're gonna keep the.
I'm going to continue with this. I'm going to try to maneuver the conversation towards like so I've established what we're looking for. I found out a little bit about her. I'm interested in what she has, what she's looking at in terms of the different groups, what her intentions are. So gonna try and feel her out for whether or not she's willing to join one of these groups, and if
what is
so,
your
what
character's
her
alignment, real
motivation
quick?
is. I don't know if I established a straight one for him. Let me see. I guess it doesn't say so anywhere on this sheet. But the idea that I had for the character is that he's sort of more neutral good.
Okay.
I was actually going to throw that one out there. It's just like, okay, you don't know, neutral good, done.
Yeah, well, so like the reason I was agonizing over it for a second is that I think he like leans lawful, um, but I don't know if I don't know yet what he is and isn't willing to do. Um, but he's definitely like if you're in the scale since I finally uh read through Three Hearts and Three Lions, if you're on the scale order to chaos, he's like all the way over there.
So somewhere
So
between lawful good and lawful neutral.
yeah, I think.
Okay.
Uh
Cool.
so I'm gonna go with diplomacy because I'm trying to turn the conversation so that the main theme is I want you on my team.
Yep.
That's a 22.
So a 22 would normally only be a success. However, given that we have established your character is of a very lawful nature, she seems more impressed now that you've had you're having a full conversation with her, and those aspects of you are coming out more evidently.
Yeah.
Turning this into a critical success.
Okay. So yeah, because like when we put the test, like when it comes to it, he's very much like we are going to bring uh our efforts are to bring civilization forward into these lands,
Right.
to move out the monstrosities that have rendered it uninhabitable. We are going to bring order, bringing essentially like this established law into this place where we will defend the people. We will be that line.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and she is very impressed. She definitely seems very much. She likes the
Cool.
cut of your jib.
Cool.
Robin.
Cool. Got an idea.
Da-dum,
Oh,
da-dum.
no! Why is she following me?
She wants the story.
Yeah, she comes up and wants some details clarified.
Fine. I guess I'm doing. I don't know if this is a thing where it's easier to succeed with diplomacy or not. Fine. I'll use diplomacy this time. It's a flat roll for me, but
Oh.
I'll try it.
India.
That is a 16 on the dice.
Oh,
Nice.
Uno momento.
Frustrated, she suddenly turns and waxes poetic about how she slew the stag.
I frustratedly.
You want to hear what happened?
So you want to know what happened? Well, sit down and listen.
So like what is Imogen turning diplomatic though?
I don't know. I don't know
What
what,
would-
that looks like.
What would your roll been if you did intimidation?
19.
Oh, that sounds.
Sit down, little halfling, and pay attention. I'm
That's
about
what
to
I
tell
tried
you a
to-
story the likes of which you've never heard.
So
You wanna know how I got
used,
this?
You used
Boom.
you used intimidation, right? Because you're boasting. You're
Yeah,
telling about
totally did that.
you're
Yeah.
telling about
Yeah.
how you smote him down by
What
calling
if-
on the power of Aristil for the first time.
I was gonna say,
I did,
what if it
yes.
gets gory? What if it's like you're
Oh, it
like,
was very
you
gory.
want to know how I got this? Slam! His guts were everywhere. That's how.
Arrow through the eye socket. So that is a
Yep.
You can still see the stain right here.
This is his bow too. I took it off of his corpse. All right. Yeah. That is a success.
Okay.
See, I just imagine her getting really frustrated and angrily just boasting about all this, and it's like, oh, yes, good, yes.
Napkip is going to come up, since he was there for this occurrence, and he's going to try to be your hype man. Be like, oh, yes, and Lady Imogen did this, and then she did this, and it was so cool.
Nice.
And in his attempt to boast, he's also going to be using intimidation.
Okay.
All right, so that is a... on character sheet. That is a... That is not enough.
Aw.
Napkip does not add any particularly interesting details. She politely seems interested in the conversation with him, but he doesn't add anything new to the story. Okay, that is everybody.
And now on to turn for the second. What?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4. Ah, I did have it right the
1,
first
2,
time.
3, 4, 4, 5, 6. Yeah.
Oops. Okay, Aaron, are you going to continue?
I should have said nothing.
Yeah. I'm going to look to, because you said 6 is the max, right?
8 is the max.
8 is the max. Okay. Well, I'm not getting to 8, but
2 more crit successes.
Or if
yes.
if Caleb comes back.
Yeah, that's just.
Okay. Yeah. So we've gone from, I'm talking about the order that we restore. Maybe I move on to the next stage in, oh God, I don't know. We're in Brevik territory, right? Like, so we're under the
Officially,
Sword Lords
yes.
right now.
Yes.
We're in the Sword Lords, not where the, okay. So we're not under the current monarchy. Like,
Technically, yes, sort of, kind of.
all right,
Okay.
my politics
officially-
are about to come out.
Yeah.
Yes, you are underneath. You are part of Brevoy. That is something that the current Sword Lords are unhappy about.
Okay. But because of that, and like the governor or the mayor is underneath the current monarchy.
Hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
He also does not like the monarchy.
Yosef doesn't?
No. There's
we
a
know
big. It's kind of the main thing going on in Brevoy right now. The southern half of Brevoy is not happy. It does not like the northern half. And the southern half includes the Sword Lords.
Yeah, you would.
The northern half includes the current ruler.
Yeah, it is a roughly there's also different houses with different opinions inside of the nation itself, but roughly yes.
I think I'm going to get a little bit carried up in the conversation, so I know I'm risking stuff with this, but I think my character is going to broach the subject with her that he believes that there should be a new monarchy. Or
So it's much more the split. That's what it is. It's much more that Restov wants independence from Brevoy would be what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Rolling dice.
Are you doing diplomacy or society here?
It's diplomacy
Okay.
again. Because I'm trying to convince, I'm like, this is him.
Rebellion.
This is him literally being like, I believe this. I want you in this.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
you are a part of this. I rolled a 15 again, so it's another 22.
Okay. I'm going to.
Singing.
No, because he's definite. The thing
Yeah.
is, he is not
Yeah.
socialist by any stretch. He's a monarchist for sure.
He just thinks the wrong monarch is in.
Uh,
Or maybe a different monarch needs to just
so
yeah.
you do such a good job of this conversation, and it's very clear that it's much more. I'm going to say you go at it since you have of the lawful thing that you would lawfully like to see this done, right? Like it's not so much like open warfare and hostility.
Absolutely.
You're like, I think this
No,
is
no, 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 no.
yeah,
No, the conversation starts to twist,
Yeah.
and I start to say the current monarchy rules by wrongful right.
She seems that you convince her. She seems to be someone who would even be willing to be helpful to you now.
Cool.
Almost hit the max. Next turn. Yes.
Okay,
Don't
so
forget
that
to 8, do they join our party?
I don't know. I'm trying to find out what happens. I know that there's something cool that happens at 8.
I'm gonna keep going with my religious discussion. Hans is having fun
Yeah.
with it.
Okay.
So nope, he went too far. He started. That would be a 6.
ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, just as a point, this
Yeah.
is the moment that I would like to remind you all that built into the system are hero points, which you
How
can.
many do we have?
You each have 1, which can be spent for rerolls, if you would like.
Yeah, I kind of want to reroll that.
Okay.
Might as well.
Don't roll less.
Then a 1.
I just told you not to do that.
Ooh, 1.
No, 24. 24.
No. His
Okay.
first one was the 1.
Yeah,
that's what
one
he's
was a
saying.
1.
That's what he's saying is like I've hit rock bottom. There is no floor beneath me.
24.
When is there a 0 on this dice?
24 is a success.
Wait a second.
So you do a very good job of presenting your arguments for how you view the world, how Pharasma has shaped your view of it. He is genuinely impressed with how knowledgeable you are about your god, how devoted you are to her, and how well you understand her ideas and principles. You impress him.
Very good.
All right, Robin, do you want to sneak away and observe someone? Now that Navkip is at least distracting her for a second. Or now that you have had a success, would you like to continue in this conversation? She is a very friendly, very conversational person. So out of all the people here...
I'm going to continue intimidating her.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do it again, I guess. I mean...
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? Exactly. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's do this. That's 2. On the dice. So it's a 5. So no.
Would you like to spend a hero point?
Yeah. Should I do something else or try again?
No.
I have to try
Yeah.
again.
Yep.
Okay. Come on. That's 9 total.
Ooh.
Can I have different dice?
I mean, I can give you different dice. They're not going to do anything different.
But they might.
But they're not going to. That's not how automatic number generators work.
But it might.
But you see, my own superstition says.
But you see.
There, new dice.
Thank you.
Um,
Set them all the same
you go
color.
too far with the gory descriptions.
But it was very gory.
You come off as less than heroic. You seem to revel in it to a point that
That Beowulf might have.
She does not seem to be into that.
You're the one who asked.
All right. Does Napkip try to repair this situation? Or does Napkip go and talk to one of the other people?
Napkip goes harder.
Blood, guts, gore.
Napkin Pipe Mans? Napkin tries to turn the situation around?
Okay.
Is that what you want? Is that what we're saying happens?
I don't know. I mean, the situation can't get much worse at this point.
The situation does not get worse. It stays the same.
Okay. Sure. Imogen didn't even want to be here. Imogen just wanted to eat food and leave. Imogen didn't know this was gonna be a fraternizing with nobles event.
I didn't know it was this kind of a party.
I didn't know it was that
I
kind
mean,
of a
most of
party.
them aren't.
Okay, Hans is going
Nobles.
to excuse himself. Excuse me, I need to attend to my companions briefly.
Hans, I want to leave.
Wanna go?
I want to go home.
Okay, he is going to
I want to
gather.
find my bear.
He's going to try and
I wanna
break
kill
up
more
this
bandits.
circle of nonsense and
Kill more bandits.
basically make apologies for them and otherwise excuse them from her. I'm using diplomacy to try.
Okay, cool. Would you like, because you have seen that she is rather interested in stories and exploits, would you like to try and slip in some of your own to sideline the conversation over to you?
Yes, that seems like a good plan.
Okay, go ahead and give me that diplomacy check.
Okay. Oh, sweet. Okay, that's an 18.
Okay. Good news.
Basically, I come over and it's like, I give her the story as best as I can spin it, while also excusing their overexcitedness. It happened fairly recently and was very exciting.
I was gonna say, you can tell some of the stories of things that you've done in the stolen land, while you've been out and about, like how you.
I mean, I was part of the story.
The,
Naturally, I have to.
Like the dudes under the bridge.
Yeah. No, it's like I tell her all about the
Diving.
the awesome gunslinger thing I did to start the fight. But yeah, but it's like that's part of the story.
The ghosts under the bridge.
But part
The
of
ghosts
my
are the
intention.
revenants.
Yeah, part of my intention was to excuse their actions. I'm perfectly good with just like, yes, here's what really happened, and I give details of what the three of us accomplished.
All right, cool. Imogen. Would you like to have a conversation with someone else? For instance, there is a barbarian whom which you could talk about being part of the wilds with.
Ooh, yes.
Lore Forest. Fine. Sure. Let's do that. But I'm not strong. So
Or
she might not
survival,
like me.
whichever one is better.
Or survival. Yeah. Let's see. Survival.
Yeah, you should have
Survival's actually better, yeah.
Yeah, survival's pretty good. Nature.
Nature. Yeah, nature or survival. I'll do survival. It's probably more up her alley. She doesn't look like the naturey type.
Hello, you look like you would survive an attack
You
by
look
a
like you
by a
would
wild
survive
boar.
things. Yes. You look like someone who likes to hunt and stuff. Maybe. 12 on the dice. So that's
17.
a 17.
That is a success.
Yeah.
As you talk about it, particularly if the conversation of how you survived an attack from the boar and you show off a battle scar to her, she is very impressed with your ability to survive in the wild.
Boars kill people.
Oh, that's right. That was the thing that happened.
So, given that Imogen also just did some boasting about her own bloody deeds, and now they're bonding over survival. It's like, they are slowly becoming very weird best friends.
All right, Aaron.
Now for the final step. Do you want to get married?
I haven't maxed out the track yet.
No, that's my point.
Okay. We hit max, and then I've got the romance option unlocked.
I don't know.
No, but I am going to. It's that point where I'm like, lay all the cards on the table, and give her the like, will you join me kind of a thing. Will you help me to make this a reality? Is this the world that you want to live in, and will you make it happen? Yeah, rolling dice.
This is my moment.
25.
Ooh, another critical success.
Oh my gosh.
You have maxed.
Aaron, what's going
That
on?
was the. I don't know. 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 I don't know.
You guys have switched luck.
I'm siphoning all of your power.
You did this to me.
Okay. You impress her so much that, like, she buys into your vision and agrees with you. And, in fact, she says that she will do her best to be assigned to work with you guys.
Yeah.
But if not, she would like to give you something to help you.
Okay.
She gives you
Her token.
a moderate Juggernaut mutagen.
What?
Nice.
Juggernaut?
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. It's the level. So like there's like minor so you get a moderate Juggernaut mutagen.
I believe it's Juggernaut.
It is technically pronounced Juggernaut. We all say Juggernaut, but technically technically the J is supposed to be a Y in the native language. But yes, it gets anglicized as anglicized. Yes, it is Juggernaut.
Right. I don't know what this does, but it sounds dangerous.
Let me see.
Nice.
We'll give it to Borvo.
All right.
Small things more effectively.
Juggernaut mutagen. Benefit: you gain an item bonus to Fortitude, and a number of temporary hit points.
Ooh.
Whenever you are at maximum hit points for at least 1 minute, you regain the temporary hit points. Drawback: you take a -2 to will save, perception checks, and initiative rolls. So for the moderate, you gain a +2 bonus to your Fortitude saves, and 10 temporary hit points for 10 minutes.
Wow. Okay. That's good.
Yes, so if you maxed out the track with any of them, they would give you a gift.
Nice.
So at the end of it, you have.
Here, Napkip, I have a gift for you.
Oh wait,
Napkip
Napkip's
has
not
4,
gone.
I have...
Napkip has not gone yet.
Oh, yeah.
Who
He was going to do stuff, but we decided not to.
who would you like Napkip to try to have one more conversation with?
Just
I
because
will.
it would be
Lindsay.
really funny.
okay.
I want him to keep talking to Jathal.
I can do that.
Forget though.
I can do that.
It would
He
be
can
really
go
funny.
back and have that conversation.
Hans is like, okay, yes, I separated them. No, that's worse.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, he's gonna go back to the last person he had a successful conversation with, and he is going to continue to boast and show off his strength.
Little one no care how strong Napkip is. You appreciate.
The strength of the napkin. All right. It is basically a 50-50 chance to pass this. He needs an 11 on the dice.
Either he passes or he doesn't.
Oof, that is a 5. Would you like me to spend
Oh,
Napkip's
nope.
hero point?
What do you
Robin.
think, Kay? Me?
I'm...
Why am I
Yeah,
controlling that kid?
you're the one that made him go talk to her,
Fine,
so...
yes, do it.
Okay. Ta-da!
Gives it his all.
That is, let me double check. Is that a critical success? That is a...
If it's not, I'm gonna be really disappointed.
I'm gonna say it's a critical success.
Yes.
Napkip is a hero.
What did he? Yeah. What did he need to?
All right. I'm going to give him a +1 circumstance of he saw the inroad and was able to do it again
Very nice.
for a critical success. So that is the feast. The feast concludes. It's been 2 hours. You've managed to talk, to wine, to dine, to enjoy some really good food. The food was very good. I'm just going to point that out. Like, it's not like this was skimped on food. This is probably some of the best food you've ever had in your life. What do you think a dish was that your character particularly enjoyed, or something that was there?
We're nowhere near water, right?
We're very near a lot of water.
very near
There's a
Alaska?
giant lake that is in the north part of the country.
Is there good fishing in the lake?
There is very good fishing in the lake.
Okay. Then I'm going to say that it's a fish. I don't know that it would be necessarily exotic. I don't know how much there is like for the exotica in the fish life.
Right.
But
She imported
it's like
fish, which is
it's a particularly large and incredibly well prepared with like the herbs along and spices. The spices are from distant lands that are going to be like, oh, that's incredible. Like there's something changing about the fact that she's got this stuff, but it's clearly it's the extravagance to it.
Yes. From the eastern
It could also-
nations of Kazmaron.
it could also be a drink. Caleb, what was something at this feast that was particularly amazing to your character to try to eat or to drink that they had?
The first thing that comes to my mind is a joke answer is like, there was a steak that was cooked a little bit rare that he probably enjoyed more than he should have, but more than he wanted to.
I mean, steak is just a type of slab of beef. There could have been steaks.
It was pork.
So there was steak here?
Nah.
Okay.
Honestly, he probably is
It was
himself. Yeah. He himself probably enjoys seafood, but rather than the fish, he prefers the shellfish. Just very heavily seasoned. Some.
I'm gonna say.
You know
Would
what?
they
Let's go flavor. Let's
crabs?
go with the flavor answer. Some Varisian reef claws.
Robin.
I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is venison because that's what she's familiar with.
There could be excellent. There is excellent venison. So there is.
Why did you guys put so many little plants on all this meat? Ooh, venison.
So there is
Put all this green stuff on it.
there is a venison jerky that is amazingly well smoked and seasoned. Like, yeah, that you found particularly delicious at this feast. Right.
Musky taste to it. Yeah.
Why'd you put vegetables?
All right.
with it?
So during the feast, you guys managed to make Amiri friendly towards you. You did not get enough to make Harem friendly towards you. Jethal now has a friendly disposition towards your group. Despite some missteps, at the end, Lindsay is friendly towards your group.
Okay.
Magar, I'm gonna round that up to a 0 and has his opinion not be changed.
You could just like me. I don't care. Come on, bro.
Okay.
Tortuccio, while Napkip did tell him off, was not swayed over all the way. Valerie is
Smitten.
helpful and impressed with you, particularly
Yeah.
particularly Aaron. Um, yeah, definitely on the ally side of things. You all would have gotten 80 XP for participating in
Very good.
in this.
And in this entire conversation, we didn't talk to the new party member.
I, yes. I guess technically Hans did slightly. He joined.
Hans talked to him, and he has taken note that there's a guy here who is absurdly good at talking, who does not appear to be getting along well with his boss, potentially.
Yes. After,
He is made a note to see if that relationship has actually devolving, or
after quite some time, Lady Jumondi stands up with a and her voice booms across the halls. My friends, a bell rings also, sorry. I hope you have enjoyed your food and drink this evening. Her words are quickly met with rounds of cheers and enthusiastic tapping of several dozen mugs and goblets. It takes few moments for the room to grow quiet again. Smiling broadly, she continues, "You honor me, truly. But this night is yours. As heroes, you have responded to my call, and I can't wait to hear tales of your exploits in the weeks and months to come. Tomorrow I shall speak with all of you about your individual charters. I suspect it will be a busy day, so I suggest we make an early evening of it. After all, we have kingdoms to plan." Lady Jumandi's words are met with an even louder round of cheers and drinkware tappings. A few goblets even shatter thanks to overeager hands. Lady Jumandi gestures to the double doors to the east and west. "Of course, I've arranged bedchambers for all of you. My guards will escort you to them. I hope you find them restful. We shall speak further tomorrow when we meet back here at sunrise." She then gets up, and with the Lord Mayor, she leaves the hall with a small retinue of her armed guards, wearing garnet-colored cloaks over suits of chainmail. The other guards begin to escort you. When they do, Hans.
yes.
Imogen clicks her tongue and Borvo comes bumbling over.
One of the guards approaches you and goes, "Sir, would it be all right if one of the members from one of the other groups were to bunk with you this evening? There is an open bed in your room, and we are tight on space."
Imogen.
He's like, he gives his eyes quickly dart to the rest of the room, surveying all who are there. The odds of it being her are slim to none, I think. So, I currently see no reason why that would be a problem.
Emphasis on
Who might
currently.
I, if I may ask, who would it be that would be joining us?
Mr. Eldrinson. That man over there. Mr. Eldrinson.
And I stride over. Yes, how may I be of service?
Due to, as you see, there's quite a large gathering, and while there are many rooms in our lady's house, guest chambers are quite full, housing this many people. If you are amenable to it, Baron Hans has agreed to allow you to share his room for the evening, if that is okay with you. Baron Gunch, sorry.
I understand that this could be something of an imposition, and I don't want to make any pressure, of course.
Yeah, we all just spent the last several months camping and being in much closer proximity and much worse conditions.
It was great.
It's no
talking
imposition
about.
at all.
If you are amenable to it, then I will take your hospitality with the greatest gratitudes.
Very well. Please follow me. Alright, and let me... Boop.
Does Magar seem to care that that one of his guys is going with us, or is Magar out of the room already?
My appearance was somewhat unexpected. My lord did not have time to adjust to my being here. Initially, it was thought that I would have business elsewhere that I was able to conclude, and so allowed me to attend this event.
Oh, I see. So you were not part of the initial explorations then?
I was,
You were.
but my lord had tasked me elsewhere,
I see.
and it was as the news of this event did not reach us in what I shall call a timely fashion for my event. I have just returned from a sojourn before making the trip here, so.
Yes, I see. And he's been doing a good job over there. Where's he? Where have your group been exploring? Our group has been exploring down the. I point to where it is on the map. I can't, or I don't point. I don't have the map with me. It's just
I believe the region
Point
that we're
is-
exploring is north of them. Is that correct? Joel?
It is.
Our
East
cartographer
and
stole it.
Yes.
north,
It
or
is east.
Is it-
It is east.
yeah. Okay.
It is definitely east. Yes, it is definitely east.
Okay.
Sorry.
Very much
my
east.
brain is remembering that the compass is like this, and I was like, wait, does that throw anything off with how I state this? No, it's still east. That doesn't change the fact that it is east. We're up. Because it's all
I thought
Okay.
you
square.
said west.
Yeah. Is that the Selin that's there? No, it's the Shrike. Okay.
The Shrike.
Sorry, I was trying to find the river that we.
The Shrike River.
It
Yeah.
is the. Give me a second here. I can tell you what the area is called while you guys go on.
Osaka, what are you doing on the table?
Yes, we explored on just to the east of the Gnarl Marches along the Elida River.
River which will come to be named after me in days future.
Yes.
I see. Yes, we have so far been quite successful. We are planning ourselves now to bring in some of our first colonists after we have established ourselves a reasonable hold. We've begun construction thereon, so we are bringing in artisans.
That is excellent. We were most fortunate in that the realm we explored has a few locations that seem quite ideal.
Yes, my lord has a great deal of funding to be able to allow for such a thing, which is to our benefit.
Aaron, you were exploring the Dunsword, and some of
The
the
Dunsword. Okay.
Yep. Caleb,
Yeah.
you guys were specifically that area is known as the Green Belt
Okay,
that
gotcha.
you were in, and a little bit the northern section that you guys that the trading post is known as the Roastland Hinterlands.
The
Cool.
Hinterlands.
Okay, cool. Well, hopefully, if both of our colonies get established quickly, we can look forward to much cooperation between
You are
our
able then
ventures.
to establish a foothold as well.
Yes. Our base of operations currently is a well-traveled storehouse. It serves as something of a crossroads. It should see a lot of traffic in the near future. That will be a good place to start. And as we develop the lands further, we can take advantage of some of our other discoveries.
Oh, you have made valuable discoveries.
Indeed. As you, yeah. As I'm sure you've seen from your own explorations, we are hardly the first people to try our hand at civilizing these lands. And some of the structures that they left behind are in reasonably decent condition. With a little bit of repair work, they can serve to give us quite a leg up in getting things moving. But that will take time. And money, which I am sadly not in as much abundant supply as your good lord is. However, perhaps through contract I shall be able to achieve some.
Yes, I suppose none of us have all of the advantage or privilege of having come up through the channels as the lords who currently hold power here, but some of us are yet blessed of the gods.
Oh boy. He gets a bit of a troubled look on his face at that one.
It sounds as though Era still smiles upon you.
He certainly smiles upon Imogen, and his blessing on our venture is most appreciated.
Yes,
It is fortunate that she is with us.
the Lady Imogen, I have heard some of your tales this past evening.
Oh, you heard that, did you?
Yes, Imogen and Napkip are more used to life in the stolen lands. They are not used to the culture of Brevoy as much. But I imagine many, if not most, of those whom will be living in our colonies will be of similar background. Many will come from.
Turning towards her, the lady is then a denizen of the lands that we are exploring. You are a native to the stolen lands?
Yes. Of sorts. A wanderer.
Very few have the fortitude to survive such a life. You must be just as strong as the tales claimed.
Napkip is actual native from stolen lands.
Excuse me.
Ah, yes. Young one, the kin of dragons. You have strong blood indeed.
He smiles greatly at that comment.
I witnessed your great feats this past evening as well. To best the entire party of our esteemed Amiri, that is no small thing, friend.
Napkip is strong. Napkip has grown and become powerful and learned to fight hard.
Yes, A tale which I think shall one day extend much farther than it does now. Perhaps as far as Amiri's, perhaps.
He
Farther still.
he begins to tell you of how he fought a giant scorpion and a mite who came back from the dead.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Uh, incredibly polite. Einar stays like focused on him when he's talking, and clearly invests in the story. He turns back. So then, as I understand, you have, with the acceptance of this charter, the declaration of your own barony now.
That is correct. I have received noble title from the head of my house. And shall be establishing my colony as a barony of Brevoy under House Orlovsky. Or at the very least.
Your minor house then is that of the Orlovsky line?
Yes, House Ginch was tied to House Orlovsky by marriage some time ago.
I see. Although it may not be proper to call your house minor any longer now that it has a baron.
Napkip is a knight now.
A baron who commands a dragon knight. That is something indeed.
Hans is looking distinctly uncomfortable with discussing his family. One of my house's wards is your companion's. I greeted her before, Nanya. I wish to ask about her. How well did she comport herself in your
Why not?
adventures?
She's... I don't know enough about her. Can you describe
Yeah,
them for
Caleb, I
to me?
haven't.
Yeah, sure.
It's been a while. I don't have a ton of. I forget the information on her. So yeah, you give us the.
Basically, sword lord in training, just completed her training, and literally the first thing she chose to do was go out with one of the adventuring parties, and she chose that one.
Okay, all right.
So one of the party's fighters.
She is strong and courageous. I think that she will make herself a magnificent leader one day. Although she is a bit quick into battle.
He smiles at that. Yes, I would imagine so. I hope that she learns prudence fairly painlessly and quickly. But
with my lord's will, I shall be able to be there for her in the event that it goes awry.
And yes. And speaking of your lord, what are his plans? Does he plan to establish himself as an extension of Brevoy as well, or is he planning on following the path of the River Kings?
Sword lord through and through. As I said before, we have begun work on the fortress. It shall be, as I understand it, just the first step in his greater aspirations. Although, admittedly, my lord does not permit me into his strict confidence.
I just want to drop something here. Hans mentioned his house was attached to House Orlovsky.
Yes.
I don't know if your character was actually thinking this or not, but House Orlovsky is one of the noble house, is the most powerful of the noble houses who do not like the current King of Brevely.
So, my character, with some understanding of society and the diplomatic, like the having politics lore and the society lore, has some idea of what Orlovsky is.
Right.
But you are a minor house attached to them, and
Right.
he doesn't know you yet.
Exactly. Whew.
And you're freshly your own Baron, too.
Right. I'm not saying he would make that conclusion. I'm just saying that is a bit of lore that is relevant.
Yes. And what of your own intentions? After you have used these great resources you have found and restored these great old sites, what does the Baron Gunch intend for this stolen lands?
I personally just wish to see to the safety of whoever happens to choose to live under me.
Noble.
I currently have no greater ambitions than that. Imogen has been assisting me with how to make my realm so, much more appealing to the river folk and those who currently live in the area. I myself
Lady is a maker of kings.
He said the title.
You have no idea. Sorry, out of character. You have no idea how much of the rapid rise of Hans in power and influence has been specifically because of Imogen
Matchmaker.
going out and doing stuff.
Match.
Oh dear. It's like, yeah, Hans legitimately. Oh, yes, because Hans is legitimately okay. This is what I've been given to do. I just have to take care of these people who I find myself lord over, and he keeps
Imogen's like, you're destined for greatness.
yeah, he keeps finding himself in these really.
I see the makings of greatness in you.
This noble lady's cute, isn't she?
No, yeah, okay, yes, that was. Wow, isn't she cute? And if you went after her, I think you could totally solve the entire Civil War problem in Breville.
Just think of the peace, Hans.
That one's the funniest because that one had nothing to do with her influence, but.
What?
I
doth protest.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh dear. But yes, anyway.
I I understand, and I could myself. I deeply respect the notion of a man who is willing to fight for his people. It is, I think, the purpose of every monarch to improve the lives of those who are given to their care.
Yes. He will choose not to share that detail yet.
Aaron, what's your character's max health, real quick?
It is somewhere on this sheet, I think. Oh, 15.
Thank you.
I'm just a wee baby in the ways of magic. Who happens to be carrying a mutagen that could make me really buff.
All right, so you guys are. I'm assuming most of this conversation has taken place while you guys were getting ready for the evening. You were shown to your room. It was a nice room containing 4 beds, a dresser, lamp oil, attached to the center of the southern wall, several potted plants, a decorative brazier forged to resemble a sleeping red dragon sits in one corner.
Ooh.
Odd choice.
Is it so odd?
What is everyone's perception? Who has
7.
8.
I have a 3.
Ooh, okay, nice.
Oh.
Imogen.
Oh, Borvos is 4. Yes.
Imogen, you are awoken in the middle of the night, about
Good.
3 hours
Cue the song.
before dawn, by a single cry.
Cry.
A cry.
Where did it come from?
Over here, it was sounded. You know the sound of that someone makes when violence is done upon them.
Violence. I rouse Borvo and open the door.
She described
It's
it in
fine.
detail earlier in the evening.
All right. Do you awaken anyone else or just Borvo?
I'm going to very loudly awaken Borvo, so hopefully everybody else wakes up and sees something's going on.
Before you open the door, do you wish to claim your weapons and armor, or do you just throw the door open?
Yes.
All right. So it takes you guys a minute to don. Those of you with a light armor, which is everyone who's wearing armor. It takes
I'm
you.
not. I'm just wearing clothing.
It is true. Would you like to cast Mage Armor though in this time?
Yeah.
All right. What does it look like when you cast Mage Armor, and how does your Mage Armor look?
As the mage armor begins to curl over, it forms up like the sides. It's you can't see it at every angle, but just at the right angle, it glints and it scales along the skin. And it like they hover just over it if you get the right angle, but it looks like they're contiguous with it. And then when struck, it bursts out and reveals itself like the skin of a large lizard, or some might say a dragon.
Dargan. Anyway, let's open the door. Do the thing.
As you open the door, you see 3 figures standing outside, knives in hand, preparing to enter.
That looks like bandits to me. Shoot 'em.
Everyone, give me initiative rolls in 1 second.
Initiative in this is perception, correct?
It is perception by default. They will get to roll stealth because they were trying to sneak up towards you. There are other such examples of, for instance, if you are swinging in, like on a chandelier, you would get to use acrobatics.
I want to swing.
Or presumably, if you were scrying and saw the danger coming, maybe you could use Arcana or different stuff like that. So, all right, they get to use their stealth. All right, so that is a 5. I should probably grab d20s, huh?
Is there an initiative tracker for us to utilize, or are you writing it down?
I am writing it down.
Oh, okay.
It is, yeah, it's just the notepad on the side.
19 for moi.
Okay, Aaron?
11.
Caleb?
11.
You have the better dex modifier. Alright, let me spawn myself a d20. And then I'm also going to need, for Napkip, I will need d6s and... what is the other? And for the other guys, I will need... d4s. Alright. Napkip has an initiative, has a perception of 5. Oh, that's a 23.
Nice.
Nice.
Alright, and then the guards. We'll get to
The
go-
guards?
Sorry, the guys got 14. Okay. Napkip is going to delay until after the person in the front door is possibly no longer there. So, Robin, you get to go first.
Okay. Okay, so with my first action, I think I'm going to shift back.
Okay.
Because I'm assuming I have
Oh,
my...
duh. I have things, don't I?
You have things?
Quite possibly.
For rolling initiative.
Ah,
Oh.
Yeah.
what things do you do?
I'm suddenly back here.
Specifically, could you read out the ruling for the rest of the peoples?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, come on. Sorry, my laptop's been keeping the control key stuck for some reason. Sometimes, but only sometimes. Okay, so I get a +2 to my initiative. Oh, okay. 13.
Okay, well, then
Nice.
it doesn't change your position, but...
Right. And I can interact to draw a one-handed firearm, which I do. Yes, my double-barreled pistol comes out of my coat. As your first action on your first turn, you can step up to 10 feet as a free action. Okay, so not yet.
Okay. Oh, yeah, just for people who are watching, because the scenario was first level, we're all starting at first level just to help us learn the system and everything, even though technically they were like level 3 or 4 by this point in the actual storyline. I did give them some of the gears of the stuff that Caleb and Robin had earned and made ahead of time. All right. Cool. So that is that. Okay, so Robin, you take a step back.
Okay, so
Just as a note, for you, attack of opportunity is not a thing that everyone gets. That is a
Right.
specific feature that things like fighters or possibly some dangerous monsters have, but not every one. So if you would like to stride more than that, you are most likely safe to go ahead and do so.
yeah, I think I'm gonna scoot back to this
All right.
this square over here,
Okay.
and I'm going to use my. Sure, why not? Let's Okay, so let me just clarify something. Let's see. Okay, so support benefit, is that part of the command action, or is that just something I tell him to do?
That is one of the actions that you can command him to take. If he has not taken an attack action, after he takes the support action, he cannot take an attack action.
Can he also move in that case?
He can.
When he does that.
Yes,
Okay.
you could also command him to prepare to maul the first person who comes through the door.
Yeah, I'm just figuring if I can command him. So he moves on my turn, correct?
Yes. So, yep. So now, animal companions are just a thing. Yes, are things that act on your turn. He will not act unless you command him to do so.
Okay, so yeah, so my thought here is that I can at this point, after having moved, Imogen can command Borvo to move there and take the. Well, actually, should he move here? Okay, so my freaking doorways, man. Basically what I want to do is I want to command him to scoot over here and take the support action, and then I'm going to attack, so then that sets up the support ability, which is every time I hit a creature within the range of the bear's strike, the creature takes 1d8 slashing damage from the bear.
All right. I am going to.
Is that how that works?
It's more the cover. That's what I'm trying to figure out, right? Because there's.
Yeah, it doesn't say that there's a roll for it. It just says he just.
Right.
The creature just takes the damage.
I believe it says that he has to be adjacent to them, and that's just what I'm figuring out, whether this still counts as adjacent. I believe so. I believe this would count. So if
It just says it has to be within the bear's reach.
Still, same question, right? Is it
So if there's cover, it's still within the bear's reach,
right?
but it just has cover in that
right.
instance.
That's what I'm just.
But he doesn't have to roll, so the cover doesn't really factor. Does that make sense?
Yes, I understand. I'm just going. Is that enough of a doorway where he could attack through that? Is it total cover or partial cover? Because that would make the difference. I'm going to rule in this case. I think if the doorway's open, it's enough that he can still jab through. So you can do that. You could have him move there, and take the support action and still get the extra damage.
Right.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm ruling in your favor in this case. I just need to stop and think about whether or not that was logical or not.
Okay. So
Because, like, obviously, like, let's say if you were standing here and shot this guy, that wouldn't make any sense that he could maul him through the wall. That's just what I was taking a look at the art and seeing if that made sense.
No, Joel, he needs to Kool-Aid man through the wall here now. Okay. So I'm gonna attack the dude in the middle there.
Okay.
With my composite longbow. I think I can do that. Shooting into combat a thing. This one.
Nope.
Alrighty, awesome.
However, your composite longbow has the volley trait, if I am not mistaken, which means you will take a penalty to shooting him, since he is so close.
Hang on, let me look at it. Let me look at it. 'Cause I have that on my character sheet. traits.
Yes.
So 2 hands to fire it on a critical hit.
Longbow, volley 30 feet. This ranged weapon is less effective in close distances. Your attacks that are a distance within the range listed take a -2 penalty. So you will take a -2 penalty with the longbow.
Well, it's kind of her weapon of choice at this point because Aristil, but yeah.
Right. You do also. It is a +1 longbow, so it is only. That's why it equals out to a
so
-1
it's only a -1 at this in this case.
from what your normal thing would
for
be.
that. Yeah. Because I forgot to put the +1 on my character sheet. But yeah, so it's only at a -1. That is a 12 on the dice, so that is +6. So actually, yeah, so it would be a +5 in that case. So that is a
17.
17 to hit.
A 17 hits. Hit.
Hooray! So then that is 1d8 plus Dex. Is that how that works?
No, I believe it is just flat.
It's just flat. Okay.
Yep. Yep. So it is a yes.
So it would be 2d8 in that case because Borvo goes whack.
Yes.
Okay, so that's 4 and 1. Great. So 5 damage.
Okay. Your arrow thumps into the cultist's heart. It doesn't pierce in to him, but it gives him a solid boof. It'll definitely leave a bruise if he manages to survive this night. I don't think he will.
Okay.
All right, so that is your 3 actions.
Yeah.
It is then Napkip's turn. Napkip's first action is he is going to stride forward. And Napkip's second action, he is, because you all already have your weapons out and your armor up, otherwise he would have to spend an action to draw each one of his weapons. He is going to take the double slice action.
Nice.
Double slice. You lash out your foe with both weapons. Make 2 strikes, one with each of your melee weapons, using your current multiple attack penalty, which is none. Both strikes must have the same target. Both weapons have the agile trait, so he does not take a -2 penalty to the attacks. If he hits, he gets to combine the damage. Alright, so with his short sword, he has a +9 to hit.
Sweet.
That is
not sweet.
That is an 11. That is an 18.
Better, much better.
So the 11 is going to miss, and the 18 is going to be a hit. So he is going to deal 5 points of damage, which is enough to kill the cutthroat. So your arrow shoots, hits him, knocks him off of balance. Napkip comes at him. 2 blades drawn. The first one misses, but it was a feint to set up for a second blade, which goes into his chest and kills him.
And Borvo, yeah.
It is. Oh yeah, I guess Borvo also was part of the
Borvo
modeling.
taking the little teeny swipe in there.
All right. So, I mean, that was the cover, right?
Yeah.
So this cutthroat is going to move forward. He is going to use his first action to try and his second action, sorry, to try and stab Napkip. That is a 12, which misses Napkip's AC of 18. He's going to try it and go again. So that is a 9 plus 6. That is a 14. That is not enough to hit Napkip.
Ooh, nice.
All right. This guy here, he is going to spend an action to draw his hand crossbow.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's going to try and shoot Napkip because he is the only target currently.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a 15. That is not enough. A hand crossbow has a reload of 0, it looks. So he will do that again. And he misses terribly. That's a critical miss.
Well,
So that is the turn of the cutthroats. Caleb, it is now your turn.
Okay.
Bang!
First
Wake up
thing
the
that
entire
happens.
rest of the house.
First thing that happens on my turn, I get a free action to move 10 feet. So I'm going to get over here, get out of the way of Imogen and Einar's shots.
Okay.
Does this give the guy in front of the door cover at all, or?
Yes. So, well, both of them would have, from that angle, I would say you would have standard. They would have standard cover.
So if I want normal cover, if I want no cover, I'd have to be like here.
Yes. Only he would give you no cover. This guy would still have
Right.
standard cover. So
Mechanically,
+2.
does that affect our shots at all?
They
Shooting
get a
through
+2 to AC.
ally squares?
Shooting through allied squares. If there is anything between you and the target, an ally or an enemy, you take a. They get a +1 to their AC.
Okay.
Cool. No matter how short Napkip is.
Yes, I guess technically I should be going 1, 2, 3, 4.
There we go. Okay, so I do have the double-barreled pistol, so what I'm going to do, it was a free action to move here. Then I'm going to fire both shots one at a time. Then my third action will be to move again.
Okay.
I think, yeah, that makes sense.
For the double-barreled, it is 2 separate shots, right? So the second one will have the minus attack penalty.
I don't know. Is it? Let me take a look. Double barrel. Oh my gosh. No, I don't want to print. I gotta restart my computer soon. Like tonight.
Double barrel. This weapon has 2 barrels, and each are loaded separately. You can fire both barrels of the
Right.
weapon in a single strike to increase the weapon
Yeah,
damage
so it would
die
be-
by 1 step.
Yeah, so that would be minus. That would the second attack would get the minus.
No, if you fire both of them, you up.
No, if I fire them both, that's 2d4. If I fire them both at once, it's a d6.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If both hit, it'll
I
be
still-
a D4 and a D4. If you
Right.
attack once and hit, it'll be a D6.
Right. So in answer to your question, yes, if I fire them one at a time, then the second one would get the minus.
Yes. Which version are you doing? Is what I'm clarifying.
Right. I'll take the 2 individual shots.
Okay.
In my experience, more rolls is usually preferable. Especially since I have to get through all of my usual crap to get to something decent. Let's see. So, and the second one's at a minus what? 2? 4?
5.
5, okay. So, this one, that is a 22.
That is a hit.
That one is not.
Okay.
Alright, so I get 1. That was the dumbest way that could have rolled. So I hit the roll button and the die did a horizontal
Circle.
spin. Yeah. So that's 2.
Okay.
And move over here.
All right. Aaron.
Yes.
You see this guy pull out some sort of strange metal tube. You hear an explosion.
Okay.
And the
And-
entire rest of the house.
And you see a scar, so like a cut, just appear across the guy's face as you that he pointed it at.
A different kind of a wand, but okay.
It is now your
But-
your
Very
initiative.
It's a wand of stabbing.
All right, so I am going to. I think what I'm going to do is cast Daze
Okay.
against the Cutthroat,
Okay.
which is 2 actions.
All right.
If I understand the way this works correctly, he takes 4 damage regardless, and then he gets to make a will save. Oh, so it's a basic will.
Yes.
So no. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So basic means that he may take the damage or not.
Yep.
Anyway,
He makes a will save.
the target must attempt a basic will save, and if it critically fails that, it is stunned 1.
Okay, what is your DC?
17.
Okay.
That he did not critically fail.
He succeeds.
Okay.
So I believe he only takes 2 points of damage then?
That, I think, is how basic works.
Yes.
Okay. And then as my third action, I would like to demoralize him,
Okay.
which is an intimidation attack roll.
Nice.
Correct. That is an intimidation attack against his will DC.
Okay. So I will roll that. It's at +7 is my intimidation.
Yep.
That's a 19 on the die, so it's a 26.
I want to know how you
That is
demoralize
a
this man.
critical success.
I want to know how you demoralize.
So
My demoralization is, do you have so I'm going to act as Snapkip's hype man. And I'm going to say, do you have any idea who you are facing? And I will give what accolades could Napkip have? Oh, I will call him let's see. Because you guys don't have a
killed so
country
far.
yet. He's Dragon Knight of the but it's what you guys have told me, right? He's Dragon Knight of the Baron Gunch, Slayer of the Undead, whom the venom of what can we call the giant scorpions? I don't know. The venom of giant stingtail could not bring down. What hope do you and your little blade have?
okay, he is incredibly frightened. So, frightened. You are gripped by fear and struggle to control your nerves. The frightened condition always includes a value. This one is 2. You take a status penalty equal to the value to all your checks and DCs. Unless specified otherwise, at the end of each of your turn, the value of the frightened condition decreases by 1. So yeah, so he is shaking in his boots. You have scared him. It is now Robin's turn. Let us see if he lives long enough to get that
Scream.
Well, he can die in fear. I'm cool with it.
So since Napkip's in the way, okay. So what bonuses and minuses am I dealing with here?
So you would have a total of a -3,
Okay.
because -2 for the volley, and then -1 because Napkip is in the way, which represents so that represents the fact that you're trying to shoot around him, is how the game rules work.
Okay.
And we've predetermined though that you have a +1 on the longbow. You just forgot to add it on the sheet. So total of whatever's on your sheet would be -2.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm getting a +4 to this in that case. Okay. So I'm going to command Borvo to support again.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to shoot him.
Oh, I wish they would include that.
That was a garbage roll. I miss. That's probably a miss. I get a 7.
Yes.
Miss.
Not a critical miss, but it was a miss.
Well, I have another action, so I might as well just do something else.
Try again.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see.
Oh,
so
boy.
I'm at a -5 to that, so I'm at a total of -1 for this roll. Oh no, wait. Is it an agile weapon? Is that how that works? No, it's the hatchet. That's the hatchet. Never mind. Okay, so I'm at a total of -1 for this roll. Okay, so that's 7. So no.
All right.
I don't do anything.
Yeah, so you're being careful. You want to make sure not to hit Borvo or Napkip. Borvo is kind of like pawing through the door at the Napkip as he's preparing for his second attack. So your 2 arrows go thunk thunk into the masonry behind him. It is now the Napkip's turn. Napkip is going to double slice. That is a 16, which is a hit.
Good.
And that is an 18, which is a hit. Boop. Oh, he's dead. Oh, he's so very dead. So that is 9 plus 6. That is 15 damage.
Nice.
That is over. He's just. I'm gonna insta dead him. Yeah. So like he's like stricken by fear, and he panics and he doesn't know how to move. And Napkip just goes, shunk, and just 2 clean slices onto his throat.
Nice.
Goes dead. He has a third action left. He is going to step forward into the hallway to hold the brigand off from you guys who are inside. It is then now the cutthroat's turn. Correction. Reloading is 1 action, so he did not attack twice last turn. He only attacked once. Hand crossbows take 1 action to reload. They are not 0 like bows. So I will do that as his second action. So he is going to attack Napkip with his dagger. That's in his other hand. Oh, that is a critical failure.
He doesn't do very well.
Bad. It's bad.
He is then going to take a step back.
Let me rethink my life real quick.
And unlike most characters,
back here.
since Napkip is a fighter, he gets an attack of opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
So, I believe... Let me double check something real quick. Attack of opportunity. I believe attacks of opportunity are not subject to multiple attack penalty. So... well, that's unfortunate.
It's just a comedy of errors over here.
Napkip was not expecting him to retreat. The cutthroats miss, because that's when this shot with the crossbow would go off. That happened last turn. So that is the cutthroat's turn. Caleb, it is now your turn.
Okay, we're going to... Alright, this here says... okay, reload 1. I assume that means 1 action,
That is correct. Although...
not 1 round.
Yes, reload 1 is how many actions it takes, though I believe as a gunslinger you get something special when you reload.
I do. Raconteur's reload. Oh my goodness. I literally just fixed this. Okay. Yes, aha, yes. When I reload, I am able to use deception to create a diversion or intimidation to demoralize the enemy.
Alright, you are not currently in sight of the enemy, so that would not
Yes.
be possible. If you would like to stride first, then
Yeah, I'll
reload.
stride first.
Yeah! Now you're thinking with reaction economy!
There we go. So, move out here. And then, why is that there? And then reload 1
Wow.
chamber. Yeah, reload 1 chamber. And I am going to try to use deception to create a diversion.
Okay. Create a diversion. So this is against his perception. Up his perception DC.
Okay.
How many bullets are in my gun? You don't know. Ooh. You
I
forgot the
think
one in your chamber.
I imagine it more he's doing the revolver ocelot thing, where he's like, boom, like he just doesn't know when it's coming.
Yeah. Ultimately, it doesn't matter what he does. The guy can't hear him from the previous shot, I assume.
Oh,
I rolled an 8.
no one can hear anything.
What did you get on? What do you have as your deception score?
5.
So that is a 13.
No.
You roll.
I rolled an 8. Sorry, I rolled a 3 plus 5, 8.
You see. You said you rolled, not your total. That's why I was
Sorry,
like,
sorry.
yes. Yes. Okay. So yes, that does not succeed then. So you do not make him flat-footed against your attack.
Cool.
And you get that as a free action as part of that, so you may now make your attack roll.
Yes. It goes boom and deafens him and deafens everyone. That's a 20.
Well, we're in the next room, so maybe.
Nice.
A total of 20 is a normal
Oh, no.
success.
In this close range space, like oof.
Now, roll. Okay,
Does
rolled
that
that.
mean I can't command Borvo?
It did an exact 360 flip, another 2 damage.
Okay. I do not believe that there's actually a mechanic with guns being too loud to deafen people. If so, it would say it on there that they would have a trait that would do so. They do not. So fortunately, there is no mechanical influence besides a slight ringing in the ear. I am going to disappear for 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Wait, haven't I can look it up myself. I
It
have
is.
the internet.
What are you looking?
I'm trying to see how many actions Borvo gets when I command him. Animal companion.
Let's see. Command an animal. You issue an order to an animal. Attempt a nature check against the animal's will DC. The GM might adjust the DC if the animal has a good attitude toward you. You suggest a course of action it was predisposed toward, or you offer it a treat. You automatically fail if the animal is hostile or unfriendly toward you. If the animal is helpful to you, increase the degree of success by 1 step. You might be able to command an animal more easily with a feat like ride. Most animals know the drop, prone, leap, seek, stand, stride, and strike basic actions. If an animal knows an activity, such as a horse's gallop, you can command the animal to perform the activity, but you must spend as many actions on command an animal as the activity's number of actions.
So
You can
just
also
real
spend
quick, as an important
multiple-
point, animal companions have the minion trait, which changes how this normally works.
Ah,
Yep. So
what does the minion trait do?
the minion trait makes it so that it cannot act on its
Gives it-
own. But whenever Robin does not need to make a check to command it, she just needs to spend an action, and then it gets 2 actions.
Okay, 2 actions.
There you
That's
Yes. Borvo gets 2 actions when
Right,
you command
okay.
him.
Okay,
See, what
so
I
he
was
would
thinking
not
was,
be
he has
able
the
to-
minion-
Okay, in that
yeah.
case. All right, so
He has the special minion rules, therefore his hit points goes all the way down to 1.
no,
Oh,
that's
no.
not how that works.
Those are some special minion rules.
No. Okay, whose turn is it?
Hans hit. It is now Aaron's turn.
Okay. All right. I'm going to. I think at this point, I am going to use my focus spell,
Okay.
Dragon Claws,
All right.
and I will speak the word, and these like my hands, which are already fairly large, the out of the fingertips grow these long black nails.
Ooh.
As the skin around them is tinged red and becomes dry and scaly. I'm then going to go stride for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's up 25 feet.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to try to hit him with my hands.
Okay.
I have a
Done.
+7
Much
to
like
the
your
attack.
character I picture.
Wah! No. I do not think a 9 shall hit, unfortunately.
It does not.
Ugh.
Do you get to make 1 or 2 attacks as part of the spell? Because I thought I remembered seeing something about it letting you make 2 attacks.
It doesn't say anything about that,
Okay.
so I assume that it does not.
Okay.
Yeah, vicious claws grow from my fingers. They are finesse unarmed attacks that deal 1d4 slashing damage and an extra 1d6 extra damage of a type determined by my bloodline. My scales from blood magic glow with faint energy and give me resistance 5 to the same
Nice.
damage type,
Okay. Cool. All
which is
right.
fire.
All right. So that is 1 action. You stride and attack. Robin, it is now your turn.
Alright, I'm going to use my first action to command Borvo. Borvo is going to go 1, 2, I believe he moves 7 squares, yes. 2, 3, 4, 5, so he's going to go over here, and then he is going to do the bibbity bite, I believe.
Wow. Speed
Bear
of
thing.
35. Nice.
Bear things, jaws attack.
Okay.
Dun dun dun
Dun
dun.
dun 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 dun. So he's got a +6 to this. That's a nat
Nice.
20.
Okay, that's a oh dear.
Okay.
Oh dear.
So that's a nat 20, you said?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so that is a critical success. So you will
For the
roll.
bear.
You will roll the damage and then double it.
Okay. So I just double the number.
Yes.
Okay.
So you roll it once and then double it.
Okay. That's a 3, so that's 6.
Plus.
Wait. 6 plus 3, so that is 9.
Okay, so no.
I'm
So
assuming I
no.
don't.
No.
Do I double the
You
strength
double the
mod?
strength mod too.
Okay.
So it is 12
Alright,
damage.
so that is
12.
a 6 in total, so 12.
Yep. Oh yeah, crits are
Nice.
lethal in this edition. Yeah. That was double the HP. Yeah, he just.
Borvo got him.
Yeah, it was a bite, so I just imagined that, like, he's off balance. Took a hit, but the bullet didn't go
Borvo
go
just
through.
comes barreling around the corner and just.
Yeah, he dodges out of the way of the claw attack that was coming him, which opens it up for Borvo to just whoosh.
I even, because he's a bear, right?
Yes.
And he's like a
Yeah.
he's very-
fairly sizable bear. So like I go underhand with the claw, the guy dodges backwards to have Borvo coming over top and just goes boot and clamps on his head. And he just goes down. Like
Aw, man. Borvo's having a nice snack. The threat has been.
immediate pivot assassins. There's a body like right underneath Napkip, right?
Yes. Would you like to?
There's
ex-
a.
Um,
Yeah. There's.
do they
Um,
have any markings on them? Are they wearing any kind of house crest, or are they just black plain clothes?
Give me a society roll.
Okay.
Or thievery if you have it.
I'm assuming since, Hans was letting off shots left and right, that the rest of the house probably heard what went down.
You guys can hear the sound of combat going throughout the house. This is
Oh,
not the
no.
only place that this is happening.
I have a 22
Okay, that
for
is
the society
that
roll.
is a success. So
Or thievery. Both of them are the same.
each one of the members you notice has 3 black eye tattoos in teardrop shape. These
3 black teardrops.
Yep. You recognize these as the Black Tears gang.
So, on the
You
nose.
said that was a 22?
Yes, I rolled a 19. I have 3.
Yeah, you don't know a ton about the gang. You just know that it is they are a gang from this area that is called the Black Tears gang.
So Imogen's thinking about this point. If there is sounds of combat happening in the rest of the house, that maybe we should investigate that.
Yeah.
Yes, I must make sure that my leash is alive and well.
You know where he's staying?
Aaron, you do know enough to know that they, some of the things that they have been reported of doing, kidnapping, extortion, assassination, and the sale of illicit substances.
What's it at?
All right, where would you like to go?
Yeah.
Just take a quick peek down these hallways real quick.
Okay. Boop,
Are there any enemies?
boop. There. I don't believe there are any. Let me double check.
They brought a dragon.
Right. Sorry.
No, Caleb, he has to describe the room first, and then he'll tell me his house.
As right after the last enemy falls, you hear sounds of klachunk go throughout the house, and a portcullis falls here, blocking the stairway.
Oh. So I'm guessing other portculli.
Is that a stair up or down?
That's a stair
drop
up.
down too.
You are
Yeah, I
on
thought so.
you are on the first floor. A shuddering, grinding sound echoes throughout the manor. The sound is followed by a series of reverberating booms as the manor's interior portcullises are all lowered, sealing off the upper floors, but also sealing you on into the ground floor.
Cool.
Are
See?
we still in combat rounds, or
No,
are
no, no.
we in
This is an exploration
mode?
time. These
Okay.
these also fall down.
Yeah.
The large hall has a polished marble floor. Several potted plants line the walls, and tapestries depict woodland hunting scenes on the east wall. What these two here are guard posts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are guard posts. The guard, you see the body stashed away of the guard who was stationed here.
That's yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
probably
also,
who I
Aaron,
heard.
because you were searching the bodies, you find that each one, you find that they have small coin purses on them.
Okay.
You find, if you search all three of them, you find a total of 15 silver.
Oh, we're halfway there.
Living on a prayer. Do you guys want to investigate the guard or move down, or open up
You can check.
the things?
Yeah. These are assassins. They got to him, so we're going to assume dead. Or at least I am.
I mean,
Because
like,
we need to be moving.
okay. So wait, where is the guard stashed?
The guard is stashed in this corner here.
Okay. I will do a quick medicine check on him if that's okay.
All right. That is okay.
Okay. And my medicine is bad, so.
Oh no.
I'm just trying to see if he's alive. 17.
It is
flat.
very easy to tell that this is a dead man.
Okay.
As
How was
you-
he killed? Knives?
Yeah. Knife, throat.
Okay.
Stab to the
Death by
stab to
knife.
the back, and then a knife to the throat. So it look.
Okay.
Also, as you are taking a look and like overlooking and examining him, you hear a clink sound, and you find a small healing potion.
Oh,
Like a glass
okay.
clink. And as you examine
okay.
it is a minor healing potion.
All right, I am going to be reloading my pistol.
All right, and you guys are
They're
going to
grouping.
open the doors. Got it.
Yeah, they're grouping at that door. I'm going to be listening at this one while they're doing that.
All right.
Unless there's nobody in either room. In which
There's
case,
there's no one alive in either room.
Oh,
who's
golly.
Who's dead?
So in this room, there are 5 corpses.
Okay.
2
Do we
female
recognize any of
humans. They are people who are at the banquet. They are not any of the important people.
None of the named characters.
Yes, but 2 female humans, a male human, a male dwarf, and a male elf. You all find dead
Right.
inside of that room. Inside of that one, there are no bodies.
Okay.
There are no bodies here, but the beds are soaked with blood, and several human hands lie in the middle of the floor.
I'm sorry?
You're forgiven.
You hear me? Do you guys want to investigate the rooms further, or just open up the doors and see what's inside?
For this one, I want to
We can
investigate
check-
further, because what the heck is this all about?
We can
Is that
check the
occultism?
rooms. We can check the rooms more thoroughly after we've rebuffed the attack.
Dude, I don't think you know what's in this room.
All right.
There's just a bunch of hands in a circle in the middle of the floor.
And they will still be there after we've rebuffed
Robin,
the attack.
give me a
How do
perception check.
How do you know that? They could crawl away. I will do just that.
Oh, also, in case anyone cares, I don't know if anyone wants
That
to.
is a 24
Oh,
in total.
You find a longsword and a tanglefoot bag that were kicked under the bed and went unnoticed.
Ooh, Tanglefoot bag.
The guard also, in case you are interested in picking up any of his stuff, had a longsword, a dagger, a light crossbow, and some bolts on him. The enemies
Let me
have
throw that into my notes real quick.
daggers, hand crossbows, and some bolts. And as I said, the pre-mentioned belts with some stuff in it. In that room there, this room is also currently empty, but fresh bloodstains hint at recent violence.
Okay.
And that's down that hallway.
Are
Still
there hands
nobody,
in this
yeah.
room?
There are not any hands in that room.
I will move
Alright.
along with Hans.
Okay.
As he goes to the next rooms.
Checking this room next.
This room is completely empty, though the beds have shown signs that they were slept in.
Okay.
But you do not see any signs of blood or violence.
Cool. Going to move over here and wait for them to accomplish searching that.
There are 5 corpses in this room.
Oh, good. Wait, 5. There's 4 beds.
One of them is a bunk bed. It's the same thing as with
okay.
the other room.
Okay.
There are 2 male humans, 2 female dwarves, and a male halfling.
Well, this is not good.
A bloodbath is what it is.
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right.
Should Napkip be in the front for the breach?
Yes.
Yes.
Here, I can take a
Thank
step
you.
behind. And that will literally be Einar saying, "Lord, might not we have one of your knights make the?"
Oh yes, Knight Borvo.
Yeah. Open the
You
door.
knighted the bear.
All
I
right.
shall go down in history as the
Yes.
bear who opened a door.
Open the door.
All right. Boop. And boop. And boop.
Oh, that's an outside.
Boop.
Okay.
Uh,
Big house.
yeah.
Weeping angel.
This
Middle
large
of the
indoor garden resembles a tropical paradise. Lush plants and flowering vines hang from the walls, while a slow-moving stream of water cuts through the center of the room, flowing languidly from north to south through stone drains. Planters filled with colorful flowers line the streams. 2 narrow wooden bridges arch over the water, allowing passage from one side to the other. Partially submerged in the stream, to the north stands a life-size marble statue depicting an half-elf woman holding a rose and wielding a shield. On the other side of the over here, you see
Mhm.
4 more of the rogues.
4 more rogues.
Dang it, Caleb, you did it. You described the room and then was like, oh yeah, there's enemies in here. By the way.
Yes, but they're
I prefer
bottlenecked.
that. Yeah. I prefer that.
Look at them. Their necks are all
Yeah,
bottled.
you would.
I like knowing where I am.
Shooting people?
It's like my brain would take note of my surroundings and the fact that there are people there. So I like having the setting there. It helps set the scene.
I will endeavor next time to mention that there are people in the room. Here's what the room looks like first.
It's like, by the way, skeletons. What?
Alright.
Alright. Are we new initiative?
We are rolling new initiative. These guys were not
Okay.
hit. These guys do get to
They
make
didn't
stealth.
get the stealth
They do
bonus.
get to make the stealth bonus, apparently, according
They
to the
do
notes.
get this stuff.
They
Okay,
they
that'll
were
be a 22.
17.
Whoop, give me a second here. I cannot type that
Okay.
fast. 22.
Were they hiding in the bushes?
17. They were waiting in ambush for anyone who made it out alive.
So yes, in ambush.
Aaron, what did you get?
Ah, I got a 12.
Alright. I believe I said Napkip has a +5, if I remember correctly. So that is an 11, and then Cutthroats have a 9. Ooh, Cutthroats go last.
Oh, they were not expecting to go first.
Alright, and
Hans proceeds to do a barrel roll.
yes, it is in fact Caleb. You do in fact get to go first.
Okay, so as part of my free, I get a free action on my first turn. Yoink.
Gunslingers, man!
Okay, okay. Let's go after one, two, three,
Here,
four.
I
I can hit all of them.
Here, let me give them numbers real quick.
Yeah. All of them are within range from here. Very nice.
You have a technique that'll let you shoot more than one at a time?
Yes, it's called 2 barrels, 1 gun. Though I probably shouldn't. Alright, so...
Try.
Okay, we are going to... let's start by targeting Cutthroat 1.
A very good place to start.
Yeah, we'll make 2 shots again. That's a 12 and a 23. That second one's -5, so 18.
Okay, the 18 hits.
Very good. Okay, that's better. 5 damage.
Alright.
And then third action, whoop, behind cover. So it's like, yeah, doors open, dash out, pow pow, and quick, behind cover, reload.
sounds very gunslingery. Alright,
Yes.
it is Napkip's turn. He's going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's going to stride forward. He is going to double slice. Oh, that's a crit.
Yay.
And that is a 14, which is not a crit. That is
But
not 2
it
crits. It's
sounds
only
like-
1 crit. He's dead. I'm not even. I don't even. It is literally
Yeah.
impossible for
Sounds
him
like
not
a hit to me, though.
not to kill him.
Sounds like
That
a hit
is
to me.
Napkip's turn. Aaron, it is now your turn.
Oh. Okay.
Aaron, you had enough time during that to reestablish your focus point. Also, you all get a hero point.
Oh, sweet.
What? I think you skipped Robin.
Did I?
I was very confused there for
Oh.
a second there.
Yes, I did skip Robin because I put the thing in completely the wrong order.
Oh no.
My bad. Oh well, you guys all get to go beforehand anyway, so
All right.
I'll correct it next turn. It'll be fine. Just know that
Okay.
that guy's gonna die. You just have a sense Napkip's gonna take care of that problem.
I just yeah. We'll go on the other side. Okay. So Imogen is going to. Let's see here. Imogen is going to command Borvo. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over here.
Yep.
And he's going to
Say hello.
He's gonna say hello with his teeth.
Attack or support.
Okay.
Just playing
Yeah.
tag with the assassins.
With his teeth. Alright, so this is at a +6.
Alright, we're gonna go for the bite again.
That was really close to landing on the 20 again. Okay, so that's an 11.
Total, that is a miss.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so then Imogen is gonna. Let's see. I could
No penalties
either-
this time.
Yeah. Okay, so Imogen is gonna go over here. And she's gonna.
That would give you
move right
penalties.
here.
Yeah, you want to shoot from farther away with the longbow?
Yeah.
Yes, but I
What?
want to not use my bow. I want to use my
Oh.
spell, which is Protect Companion.
Also, you would have had time to
Oh.
switch over to your short bow if you would like. I don't know which one you. If you would rather use the short bow or continue. You're going to continue to use the long bow. Got it. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna use Protect Companion. So it targets my creature with the minion trait under my control. Until the start of my next turn, I extend my aura as a magical shield that protects your minion. The target gains a +1 circumstance bonus to AC until the start of your next turn.
So ready for you to say Vine Whip, and I'm gonna pull that guy right into the water.
All right.
That's not a cantrip.
That is 3 actions. Aaron, it's actually your turn. It was your turn all
Okay. It was my turn all along. Who knew? Okay. I'm gonna move to this location beside Imogen. And then targeting Black Tears Cutthroat number 2. With my strong sensation that Napkip has already gone blender on his friend.
He's winding up to do so.
I'm going to produce flame. And so I will. And then a small ball of fire will emanate first from the hand, and then leap upwards, and I'll fastball across the water to see if I can hit man with the spell. So I should have I have a +7, I think. Yeah, +7
It's
to
like
spell
fireball,
attack.
but less explodey.
Less exploded, yes. 20 to hit.
A 20 will hit his AC.
Ooh. Alright, so I will roll a d4.
Roll.
So that's 7 points of fire damage.
Well,
Oof. He does not look good. That is a. It hits him square in the face.
Oh no. I don't think he
Burns
has
off
one
his
of those
eyebrows.
anymore.
Okay.
So they have the minor detonations. It's not like fireball with like the little bead that just goes, but it has this moment where it goes, and it's a small flash right in his face. Just
nice.
All right. Yeah. So he's gonna. Does it have any effects besides damage?
if I had crit, it would.
Okay. So he's gonna look at you, and he's gonna go, I can do that trick too. And he's gonna spend 1 action to manipulate to pull out a vial. and he's
That's
gonna
not the same
he's
thing.
gonna toss it over the river at you.
You're pulling an Egyptian Moses thing. It's like, I can totally make snakes.
I can do my
I
own
can
magic.
do that. I can do that.
All right. So he has.
Anything you can do, I can do better.
All right. So this is a. This is I'm assuming just a +3. Does an 18 hit you?
It hits my 17 AC, yes.
Oh.
All right. Take
8 million points of damage.
1d8 actually.
Not nothing.
Not nothing.
It might be 1 though.
Look at it standing perfectly. Oh,
No.
Perfectly average.
1, but-
4 damage. 1 persistent fire damage.
Oh, wait. It's fire damage?
It is fire damage.
oh no.
But technically a minute has gone by, I think. So my claws aren't doing the
Oh.
thing anymore.
Oh, yeah. They are.
We were in exploration mode, so like
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
shouldn't have
true.
the claws
And I
anymore.
did say he would get his
Probably.
focus.
Like, we
He would
were-
get his focus spell back. I did say that.
Yeah. As
So I don't have the
quickly as-
resistance. So I'm on fire though as well.
Yes.
Okay.
You also take 1 point of splash damage, and Imogen does as well.
Oh, I take the splash damage.
Yes,
Okay.
splash damage also hits the area that it lands in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Alright,
good.
so that's 1 point. of
So yeah,
splash.
so Aaron takes 5 points of fire damage. Imogen, you take 1 point of fire damage. He is then going to spend his next turn to would they have their crossbows loaded? No, you don't have weapons preloaded. He's going to load his crossbow because you don't want to put the strain, even if you're prepared for someone to come through. I think.
Yeah,
if they're
that-
waiting in ambush,
especially
it makes sense to me that they would have their bows loaded.
That's true, actually, because
Yeah.
you have the gun. That's they probably knew stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna say it does. He's
Even
gonna,
if they didn't know stuff, right? Because of where they're set up.
Yeah.
Like if they were planning to assassinate us with their blades, they would have been right outside the door.
Right.
Because they're
Yeah.
across the way,
Yeah.
they'd have been ready with the crossbows.
he's gonna try and take down the person who he's already injured and who hit him very, very hard. So he does have a -5 to this. That is almost certainly a miss. Does an 11 hit you?
Who's you? Me?
Aaron, yes.
17 AC.
Okay. Not even
You
close.
know, you as in yous guys over there.
All right. So that is that cutthroat. Alright, let me double check something real quick. Okay, no, they do not. Alright. This one does not like being next to the bear. So he's gonna take
Reason.
What? Is he racist or something?
the
I don't
step
understand.
action over here, and he's gonna focus fire on the person who's the most hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Boop. I think it's
And then this
12,
dude's
13.
This dude
So
over here is
13.
like, dude, really? Why are you letting me out here?
all right, and then he is going to
I gotta fight the bear by myself.
he's gonna reload. And then this guy is going to spend it. He's going to spend his first action to try and shoot Borvo.
Okay.
16.
That is his AC exactly right now.
Then it hits.
with the bonus.
Okay. Yes. His
Hmm.
AC is 16 currently.
All right. Oh wait, no, that is a D6, not a D4. That's his other one. He takes 5. Borvo takes 5 points of damage.
Okay.
And then he is going to spend his second action to pull out his knife, and he is going to attack. And since it is agile, he only gets a -4 to this.
Okay.
That is a 12, which will miss.
Not hit.
All right, that is all of the cutthroats' turns. Caleb, it goes back to being your turn.
Yes. Okay. So
So you're gonna meander out there and shoot, right? No.
Yeah.
You have to did you reload already?
No.
Alright, so you gotta do that.
It's
Then he
better
won't be
for
able to
him
move
if he
back.
moves out, then reloads, then shoots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to move out here.
Yep.
We're going to reload, and I am going to attempt another distract action.
Okay, I'm assuming you're gonna try to focus fire on the person on their side who's damaged.
Yes.
Yep.
So first off, deception check. That's a 15.
Versus their perception DC. That is a success.
Okay.
So he is flat-footed, which means just means that he takes a flat -2 penalty to his AC.
I need to adjust the heat here really quick.
Okay. And
My
then
turn.
I'm going to fire my gun.
Okay,
That is a 20.
that
Nice.
hits. It's not a crit.
What is his AC?
His AC is 15.
Okay, cool.
Yes, you would have needed a 23. You were close.
Right. Okay, 4 damage.
He had 1 health left, so that kills him.
Yes. Very good.
Bang!
Yeah, so he's burning. You do the flippy thing. He doesn't see it coming. It's just.
Mhm. And final action, reload. Another.
That was 3.
That was
Move,
3?
reload, shoot.
Oh, yeah. Move, reload, shoot. Yes, that was 3.
All right, it is then Robin's turn.
Okay. So I think I'm going to do a command action on Borvo first.
Okay.
So he's going to do his claw attack this turn, actually.
Okay. He can make multiple. He can make multiple attacks.
Yes.
Okay.
We're gonna start with one.
I do not
That is a 14 on the dice, so that's a 20.
believe that is a hit.
Yeah. So that is 1d6 of damage plus 3, so that's 5 damage on him.
Oh, okay.
Then he's going to attempt another claw strike,
Okay.
which will then be an attempt at a bear hug at this point.
I do not
So he's
believe
gonna
you
do that.
get that yet.
I don't get that yet?
You do not.
Okay. When do I get that?
When
And
you
why
level
didn't
up.
they say that on the animal companion sheet?
Yeah, it's one of
It
those.
would've
It's
been
one of
very
those.
simple to do that.
It is one of those things that is listed in the rules for Animal Companion, not on the thing. I believe you get it when you advance him. There's a thing that lets
fine.
you get
I'll
their
just do
advanced
another
maneuver.
claw attack then.
I
I'll just
believe
do
they're
it.
agile, so that is the good choice anyway.
Yes, so I get a -4, so that's a plus. It's a +2 instead of a +6. I'm dying.
Oh.
Very slowly.
So
That
so are
is
we
a
all.
not hit.
Okay.
That's not a hit.
All right. So that is 2 actions.
So then that is Borvo's turn. So then Imogen's going to take her 2 other actions. Imogen is going to take a step back here
Okay. And
and shoot with her composite.
sounds like a good plan. Are you shooting at 3 or 4?
I'm going to shoot at the one.
I say because of where you're
probably
standing.
3.
Yep. 4 has
Probably
+1
3.
cover from.
Yeah.
Borvo. Okay.
So I'll attack 3.
Okay.
That is a 12 on the dice plus 6.
That is a hit.
So that is a 18 to hit. So we get a 1d8. That is 6 damage.
Okay. He is not looking in a good way.
He's not a happy camper.
He is not.
Borvo's AC is now down to 15 again.
Okay. It is the Napkip's turn. Nap is going to stride forward and double slice. Yep.
Woof.
Yes.
Woof.
Yep. Okay.
And that's a crit.
That's another disintegrated guy.
Napkip is actually very, very lethal.
I
His specialty is desiccation.
just in case, and I don't think he has the capacity to end the combat, but technically I go before Napkip, so I would
Oh,
take the
yes,
fire damage.
yes. Sorry, it is your turn. I don't know why I skipped you. My bad.
You're just so excited to go slicity slicety with Napkip that you just keep forgetting.
It's true. You
It's
dealt
cool.
you
It's
dealt
cool.
you dealt 6 damage.
I just, huh?
I'm reversing the turn.
Oh no, I mean like Napkip can still do his thing. I wanted to note that I'm taking damage
Yeah, yeah.
and I need to know how much it
Yes.
is.
Yeah, you took 1 point of damage, and then you make a flat DC 15 roll. I believe.
I do not get that.
Okay.
All right. If I have my focus spell, then I'll use that because that'll give me the resistance again
Okay.
to fire. So I'll use the focus spell first, and then, um,
Yes, DC 15 flat check for persistent damage.
lob fireball.
Okay.
15, and I would have attacked the guy directly across from me too.
Yeah, but he's Borvo's not in your way.
Oh, is he not?
Nope. If I can draw a center from between the two of you, and there's nothing in the way. It's just from where.
And he's
Imogen is.
already injured, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So
He has been clawified.
deal damage.
All right. So 5 points of fire.
That is
damage
enough to kill him.
What?
Cool.
So you
Nice.
explosion of of fire and flame, and it is. He tries in pain, falling to the ground, trying to put out, but he is set on fire and dies in agony. And then Napkip goes up and murks this guy.
And murders the dude. Yeah. And then we keep moving, assumedly.
Do I have to keep rolling to not be on fire?
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da.
No, Imogen pushes you into the water.
I was gonna say you can jump into the water and stop
Well,
being on
I
fire.
just want to know that removes it. I don't know if it's like a chemical thing, or I can do a stop, drop, and roll routine.
It's an oil fire.
I'm just saying, if
double
it
per half
was.
based on the attack roll and like normal damage, you resist don't take it right away. It said you take the specified damage at the end of your turn. It's at the end of your turn, and you get the check first.
Oh.
To see if you recover
Oh, if it's
from-
at the end of my turn, then I could apply the resistance before it hits.
Yes.
Ooh.
Regarding persistent damage condition, that's why I'm sometimes Archive of Nethys. Sometimes. Good thing for you. I also own a PDF of the. Please hold while I look up the rules.
Please hold.
Sorry, it's the fact
I
that it's
just know
like,
that-
hey,
Please
go
hold.
look.
Your rules question is very important to us.
Yeah, it's like, hey, go look up this rules, and I was like, great. That's why I'm searching on Archives of Nethys, and it's like, go look it up in the book. I was like, well, if I didn't, I know technically it's all free in here, but this would be very frustrating if I.
Was paying.
Hi, Osaka.
Didn't own the core rulebook.
Do you want to come say hi?
Alright, page 618. Arm strained, encumbered, fascinated, helpful, hidden. Persistent damage. Persistent damage is effectively acid. Applies X persistent versus the amount of damage. Instead of taking persistent damage immediately, you take it at the end of each of your turns as long as you have the condition rolling any damage dice anew each time. After you take persistent damage, roll a DC 15 flak check to see if you recover from the persistent damage. If you succeed, the condition ends. Before you guys move forward, some of your members are injured.
I have a minor potion of healing. I don't know how effective those are, but
Imogen,
Thank you
you
for
also
using
have
it.
the ability to treat wounds.
I do. I can attempt that.
Alright, so...
Use my medicine
Aaron,
skill.
because you're immune to it, I'm just going to say it's going to end before the minute is over, because mathematically it is
Okay.
just impossible for it not to.
It's probable, but I could also just do like a quick dip in the water if that was the case.
Yeah.
Tear off the flaming piece of garment and douse it.
Yeah.
My armor is clothing, so
So I got a total of 10.
A total
medicine
of
check.
10 for your medicine check. All right. Da-da-da-da-da.
Not great.
Okay.
Not
Oh, wait. It's actually right here. They put it on here because it happens all the time. Treat
They felt like
wounds.
being helpful.
The DC was 15, so you do not critically fail. You do not heal. The target is immune to treat wounds actions for an hour. Who were you treating? Were you treating Borvo first because you're next to him?
No, I was actually thinking I was treating
Okay, so the burns are substantial. You are not able to do it. You can also try to treat Borvo's injuries.
I will attempt to do that.
Okay.
Yes. That is significantly better. That is 18.
And 18. That is a success. The target regains 2d8 hit points.
Ooh, that's a lot.
Yeah, treat. So that takes you 20 minutes altogether to treat both of them.
I'm just gonna chug the potion then.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, how many minutes?
So that's 8.
1. I was gonna say I don't. While that's going on, I feel like I would have just been like, "It's cool. I've got this potion. I'm gonna
Okay.
chug this. We don't have time to stop.
Yeah, we really
There's
don't.
Killers. There's killers.
So you don't want me to? Okay. So you want me to retcon that?
For my part, my character would have said, "I'll just drink this. We need to go." If she's going to stop with the bear, I feel like.
Okay. So just as a thing, stop for a mechanical moment. You guys really need to heal in between each fight. That's how the system works. The system expects you to spend resources to heal up. I'm just letting you know that. As well, there is also a room you could examine while Borvo is getting healed. And if you wish to push as characters, that is fine. I am letting you know what the game expects you to do.
Right. So, be explorating.
So you, Napkip, and Hans could take a moment to explore, to do perception checks on this room while Borvo is getting bandage from his slice.
Yeah, that would probably be good. I'd want to at least see if I can tell if anyone's in here.
Okay.
I guess we can't necessarily help if we're dead, so we can make that argument.
Okay.
All right.
Give me
Very good argument.
Give me perception checks.
I'll check over the guys that we've got here, see if they have any more grenades.
Okay.
Those are cool.
14.
Aaron, give me 14 for your perception check.
Yeah.
Okay. Aaron, give me three DC 5 perception luck rolls.
Okay. First one,
Or
flat 19.
okay.
Or if it's perception, it's...
No, it's just flat. Do you get 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20?
Oh, I need to feed you.
I got a 19.
Okay.
A 4.
Okay.
I'm gonna feed kitties. Be right back.
And a 2.
Okay, you find one bottle of Alchemist Fire.
Ooh.
Not bad.
All right, I'm going to...
I'll take it.
Oop. All right. Napkip also searches, does not find anything particular. Aaron, give me a perception check, and then everyone who is trained in it, give me a religion check.
Only 5. 8 total for the perception.
Okay.
Religion? Untrained.
21.
Can I give Gapkip the Alchemist Fire?
You can give Napkip the Alchemist Fire.
I don't know who it's best with, but little man doesn't have range, so I'd be like, here, little dragon. Little dragon, no flame.
You recognize that it is a statue of Milani. Milani? Milani.
Yeah.
It is most likely Lady Jumandi's patron deity. The statue stands atop a small stone shelf, so the water flows level with the statue's knees.
Oh, that's right. I was gonna.
Since you...
Be right back.
So the statue's in the water?
Yes.
Like its feet are in the water? Okay.
That is what I believe I just read. That wasn't at you. That was at me being like, did I comprehend? Did I read that correctly? The statue stands atop a small stone shelf, so the water flows level with the statue's knees.
Knees. So it's in the water.
Yes.
Interesting.
I'm going to give you a +1 circumstance bonus then to your roll because you examined the statue and found it interesting. And passed on. I know. I'm pointing. Sorry. I'm pointing.
Hans.
Yes.
Hans.
Yes.
Cool. You notice that there is a watertight compartment that is slightly below the water line.
Ooh.
Cool.
Do I have thief? You know about this, I don't. I have untrained, but I do have a +3. Watertight compartment. No, I'm like...
I was the worst.
Like, little dragon, have fire.
I was the worst of the party to notice that. Because Hans is very pointedly not a thief. He's going to leave it there. It's like, neat.
I mean, you have several minutes. You could just investigate what's there.
Well, why? It's not his.
You got nothing else to do.
It's her. Yeah. And if she survives, which it seems likely that she will, given that she's probably upstairs, and then she discovers that her things have been gone through and finds out who did it.
All right. So just as a note, you guys are fighting for your lives in her house.
Yeah.
It is technically supposed to be her responsibility to keep you safe.
Yeah.
It is completely logical that you would be able to use supplies that you find without her being upset about it.
Kill, murder.
Fair,
murder,
yeah.
murder.
Yeah, fair enough. I will at least take a look inside and see if it's like of immediate use. Is this a cache of healing potions? Is this like grenades?
Ding, ding, ding.
Is it a weapon?
The man has it. So there
Healing
are
potions.
several clearly labeled potions inside.
Nice.
4 minor healing potions,
Oh, wow.
a bark skin potion, and a
Nice.
lesser
That's
potion
good.
of fire resistance.
Wow.
Even better. Okay.
There is also a small bronze key in the compartment as well.
Okay. Going to hand out a healing potion to each of the other 3. The potion of bark skin. Who has the lowest AC besides?
I think you're all pretty. Nakip has 18. Aaron has 18.
I have
I've
18.
got 17. I can get 18 using shield.
Okay.
Right.
The target's skin becomes covered in bark. The target gains resistance 2 to bludgeoning and piercing damage, and weakness 3 to fire. After the target takes fire damage, it can dismiss the spell as a free action, triggered by taking the damage. So, doing so doesn't reduce the fire damage the target was dealt.
I'm gonna pocket the potion of bark skin.
Okay.
Because I don't want to hand that out. The potion of fire resistance I'm going to hand to NR.
Don't actually need this. Napkin?
And yeah, cool, Napkip.
Okay.
Buff that dragon!
And key was the only other thing?
Yes.
Okay.
I am myself somewhat resilient to fire
Why-
already, but perhaps a young dragon friend.
Fair enough. Here you go, Napkip.
I'm making assumptions about you, Napkip. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He is not dragon. He is not fire resistance.
No. I meant about his age.
Oh. Napkin
Yeah.
is indeed.
Hans is not hanging on to any of those healing potions because he will be very tempted to keep them after.
Okay. You guys head into the hall. You see 6 bloodied corpses of guards.
Oof.
And 3 people wearing black cloaks litter the floor of this wide hallway.
Okay. Anyone in this door?
Give me a everyone who enters in, give me a perception check.
Yeah, absolutely.
23.
19.
Okay.
23-19!
You guys, as you walk in, you hear a deep voice roaring and howling from inside of here.
Roaring and howling?
Yes.
From inside of where?
In the room
Yeah.
directly beside us.
Yes. You guys can actually also make out what sounds like the phrases that are being...
You said it sounds like a deep voice?
A deep voice roaring and howling. You actually can make out the words that it's saying because you guys succeeded the check. You hear him say, "Well, you stinking little halfling, I'll eat you and spit your bones out. I'll smash your eyes good for what you did to me."
Well, let's. Okay, yeah.
Napkip the door.
Time to kick the door down.
Napkip kicks the door open.
Would I be able to arraign myself so... Oh, yeah, you want a clear shot, so go ahead.
Yeah.
All
right. I will put the two...
I don't know what the shape of the room is before he opens the door, so I'm not going to play like I do.
Okay. Yeah, that's my bad for not doing the...
It's cool. Like, even then, I would still be, like, looking at it and being like, I can intuit the shape of this room. I know where I want to be, but my character, I don't think, would actually have that information or be able to intuit it at this moment. That's a big person. They're very tall. Does this house have, like, high ceilings?
Yes.
Or are we talking, like, 12 foot?
The modest-sized library lies in ruin. Bookshelves along the east and west walls have been emptied. Books lie heaped into a pile in the northwest corner. Set atop the heap are severed arms, legs, and heads of a dozen guards and would-be heroes.
Good golly, there were so many guards in this place.
A blood-spattered padded chair sits next to a shuttered window. You see a large ogre flailing about wildly in the room. As you take a look, you see that there is, his eyes are completely, his eyes and face are completely covered by some sort of black liquid as he flails about, wildly. As the door opens, just double checking Um, as the door opens, you see the face of Lindsay point out from around the color, and she cries out to you, "Please help!"
Initiative time.
Roll for initiative. Tactical move phase.
And we'll call this the last combat of the night.
Okay. 18.
I just figured this is a good fight to end on.
Ditto.
All right,
Sorry, 20.
I'm still on the 18.
Nice. That makes it convenient.
I don't have any additional math to do.
Okay.
No more pluses.
Oh.
What I mean.
Ooh.
Ogre.
Did I spell ogre correctly?
Yeah, that's how you spell
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Ooh, 2-1.
Map your Gondon.
Oh well, I guess he'll have to kill the halfling then. That'll be all right.
it.
Let's see. What do I got for spells?
Spells for days.
Spells for days.
I'm just going to go ahead and roll for Robin.
Yeah.
Oof.
She has time.
Yes,
She's out of touch.
that's why that happened that way.
I'm out of touch. But I'm out of my head when you're not a... We're good.
All right. So the ogre is going to do the seek action first to try and
Yeah.
find. That is a 2. That is going to be a failure.
He makes himself more blind.
All right. Da 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 da. Yes, that doesn't work. Oh, and
Feeling less like the halfling cast blindness on him and more like she spent all of her ink in a bottle attack directly aimed at that ogre's head.
that's a very good guess. Okay.
How flammable is ink?
Not
Joel
mechanically
immediately looking up
significant. Also, as he's yelling and looking around trying to find, he begins scratching himself vigorously,
Oh no, he's allergic to ink.
and that is how he spends his turn. Caleb.
Okay, yeah. Well,
You're gonna help him navigate by sound by adding some sound.
yes. Huh.
No one has a... Who has a stealth DC of 12? If anyone.
Sorry.
I think
Sorry, what's a stealth DC?
Your stealth score plus 10.
Oh, jeez. Well then.
good.
I mean 3. Sorry, 3, not 12. 3. My brain is
Sorry.
tired, and added, instead of going 1 plus 2, did 1 and 2. It is a 3. His score is 3.
Okay. I'm going to, use the free action that I get to be over here now.
Mm-hmm.
And, alright, it's only one target this time, so... Yeah, let's try for the double shot. I might as well try for that once tonight. Like the 2-in-1. And I'm using a hero point on that. So that's 14.
14. 14 does not hit him.
Cool. And moving over here. And reloading.
Okie dokie. Aaron.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm gonna go here
Mm-hmm.
with a stride, and then I am going to localizing the blast to my friend the ogre. I'm going to use burning hands.
Nice.
He gets a reflex save. It is basic, almost as basic as me, but not quite.
Ooh. 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 How does a 6 do?
Well, the DC is 17.
So that is a critical failure on his part.
Ooh.
Oh. I don't know. Let's see. I don't know if I don't think the spell has any critical failure effects. It's basic save, so I don't know if
That doubles it.
adjusts
Anything with basic means
Nice.
that means failure takes full damage, critical failure takes double, succeeding takes half, critical success takes none.
So I rolled 6 for damage, so that's 12 fire damage.
Oof.
Very nice.
12.
And that is all 3 of my actions then.
No. Okay. It is Napkip's turn. Move forward. Double slice time. That is a 24 and a 1. Napkip has a hero point. Napkip's gonna use that. 13.
Oh no.
Alright. Could have been better. So what did I say the first one was? I rolled a 19.
24,
I said 24? Okay, so
I
that...
think.
Alright. My bad. So that is just a success. So 1d6 plus 3. That is 4 damage. As he ankle bites him. Alright. Lindsay is going to cry out to you guys in aid using Inspire Courage.
Oh, good.
So Inspire Courage in this edition is a bard cantrip. You gain +1 status bonus to all of your attack rolls, damage rolls, and save effects against fear.
Nice.
Attack and damage rolls.
Yes.
That's pretty wicked. No one more.
Perfect timing! Robin, it's your turn!
Oh, hey!
You're fighting an ogre.
Oh,
You're rescuing
We opened
Lindsay
it.
from an ogre.
I don't like it. Isn't this what we fought when we died?
That was a troll.
Those were
Well,
trolls.
very different.
Actually,
Alright.
yes.
Yeah, they do regeneration stuff.
Completely different.
Ogres are not
Like
trolls.
onions.
That.
This one hasn't said anything about their swamp. As far as we can tell, Lindsay blinded it with ink.
Ooh.
And then also threw itching powder on it.
Ooh.
Possibly.
She's a bard. At least she looks like one.
She is a bard. She just used Inspire Courage. Would
The
you-
most bard of bard abilities.
Most bard of bards.
She saw Napkip and was immediately like, what's more inspiring than that?
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so. Oh, this is a terrible place to use bows.
Yes.
Flurry,
Indoors? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
The game accurately represents how difficult it is to use a longbow inside of a house.
Although, and I want to point this out because I feel it's important, you do have a bear.
I do. I'm gonna command the bear to do stuff.
Good plan. Good plan.
Good.
I'm gonna command the bear. The bear's gonna.
Bear Mall.
I'm trying to figure out where the squares are.
That's, you got it.
That's
There you go,
that's
you
where-
got it.
There we go. And bear is gonna bite him with his
Get 'em.
teeth.
The bear's just playing tag with the ogre.
Okay, so that's 10 on the dice, so that's a 16 to hit.
A 16 to hit is his AC exactly.
Nice.
Oh, 17.
Bite him.
You are gonna. Barvo.
Yeah, no. You have 17 because you're inspired. Borvo is
Okay,
currently
I-
inspired.
That's
thought
what I
you
was
were
about to say.
correcting
Yes.
his AC. I was
You
like,
also get.
Yeah.
You also get +1 to the damage.
Yes.
Ooh, alrighty. So that is. Ooh, that's max ghetto crit.
Woo!
That's 8 plus 3 plus 1 is a number.
12.
Sorry, it's late.
12.
It's 12.
Thank you.
It's 12. Do you want to know how much health he had left?
You know what time it is? 12 o'clock. Yeah.
Do you want to know how much health he had left? 12.
12.
Exactly.
Yay! So Borvo just comes barreling in and just bites.
Borvo is just raking in all the XP.
He's
I
just
tell
getting
you
all-
what.
He's just getting all the snacks.
Mm.
Yeah, so he just. I just imagine he just jumps up and goes.
Neck. Ow.
Have Borvo give me a fortitude save.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
This ogre does not taste nice.
Our Orgo's poisonous. Well, that's a nat 20, so.
Oh.
Oh, okay, good.
He
Noise.
loves ogre meat.
Loves ogre.
Moreover, he doesn't get covered in lice.
More
Ah.
Yes.
ogre.
The reason he is itchy is because he has lice inside of the furs that he wears.
Well then, that's just
I think him
lovely.
actually rolling a 20 was the worst thing that could have happened to him for his initiative.
Yeah.
He can also no, none of you have 13 HP. He cannot one-shot any of you, but
Very close, though.
if he got max damage on his dice. Yeah, so, yes, so you guys find Lindsay,
Hi.
and we will call it there for the evening.
Okay.
Alright. Boop. Alright, so,
They brought an ogre.
yeah. So, welcome back to Kingmaker, guys.
They brought
Yay.
an ogre.
Brought an ogre.
They brought him
an ogre.
ogre.
Ooh, wait, no, why is that there? That shouldn't have been there. My bad.
They brought him right over here.
Alright.
That one was bad. I'll give that one to you.
Well, thank you to anyone who tuned in and hung out with us.
Yay.
Have a good time, and
Yeah.
see. Next video should be up in 2 weeks to a month. Depends on how life goes.
Leave a like to get Orvo more snacks.
Bye bye.